start?
It's starting right now. I gotta get a link to it though real quick and post it. Let me grab that link.
I'm so behind. Wait.
Yo! Aria's the first one in.
Yay!
Alright, let me post it in Discord. Alright, I gotta make sure audio is set up right over here. So we get good stuff there. Close this out. Here. Hello, Urson. Alright, and hello, hello. Howdy, howdy. Alright, now we got some people popping in. What's up, Sharik? Good to see you, man. I am going to go. Alright, I wanted to make some predictions. I know we're 28 minutes away. I do have Codex CLI installed. Let me see if I should update it, actually. I bet you it's really out of date. Bet you it's super, super out of date. Yeah, I'll update it. WSL. Oh, I should have checked what NVM version I'm in. Node version. Yeah, it needs 22. And I'm on 20. There we go. What's up, Charlie? Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I am joined by my daughter. You probably can kind of see her over here. It's probably hard to see. She's over here vibe coding a game.
Yeah. I was the first commenter, by the way.
Yeah, she. The commits are being merged. Okay. Yeah, actually, let's go look at the GitHub or the Codex CLI GitHub. Let's see what's queued up over there. So, what's this about? So the 2025 0806 model is getting renamed GPT-5. Let's go, Wes. How you doing, man? Dude, I appreciate that. Might take you up on that. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I did. Yeah, Janice was trolling me a little bit. Trolling's the wrong word. Joking with me about there being a leak. And here I go and I find it in the code myself. So it is definitely GPT-5. All right, so my prediction. Let's go over that because I think we can kind of confirm it's GPT-5 based on that. Sharik kind of pointed us to the commits here in Codex, which we are going to have to update because this is a pending. Actually, I don't know if that's been merged in yet. Let me see if there's actually a pending PR. 38 minutes ago. I bet you this one might be the one. I actually don't know. They added the other name for that one there. All right. So the next question is, do we think Horizon Beta is GPT-5, GPT-5 Mini, or the Nano if the leaks are true? I'm still betting on the Mini. I think it's too fast on that. David, you're probably right. We go back to my my graph over here, my bar. We're going to put, I don't know where GPT-5 is going to fall. Put it like right here. We'll move it around. You're betting GPT-5 Mini too? That's awesome. And I have, so in the app that I work on, I have teed it up. It's an experimental setting right now. So over here in experimental, I've got this setting where we can enable model selection. And then we can actually pick models and see how it performs in my system. So I'm teed up to drop it right in, see how it does with my stuff too. You don't think it's GPT-5? I don't know. I don't want to spoil this for anyone, but I like looking at this like commit right here. They're changing this model name in Codex CLI to GPT-5. This would be an amazing troll if they got us on this. That's the other question. That's a great question. So, Horizon or GPT-5. You know, OpenAI said they would never release a non-reasoning model again. So we're pretty sure it's reasoning. But is it hybrid? Like Claude, Sonnet? Curious about that. If it's not OpenAI, if it's not GPT-5, OpenAI has pulled the biggest troll ever. Janice was sending me stuff that made me think for a little bit they're going to do something with GPT 4.5, and I'm like, oh no, that would be awful. That's what I'm thinking too, Sharik. I'm thinking it's GPT-5 Nano, GPT-5, and GPT-5 Pro. So pricing. This is the thing that I'm super interested in. So let's just let's do this because we're going to make some predictions going into this. This is making the assumption that there's three models. There's the Mini and the Nano. And it's also making the assumption that the Mini model is the one that we've been using with Horizon Beta and Nano. I think GPT-5 is going to be very expensive. Very, very, very expensive. Oh, dang, thank you. I appreciate that. Jay. I was trying to find your name, but it's Jay. I appreciate that. All right, Jason, you're thinking it doesn't meet the hype. All I will say is I can't code with GPT-5 Mini. Maybe go back on that. I cannot code with Horizon Beta full time, but I love what it does with like UI stuff. So I think that is really, really, really cool. All right, so let's predict here. I think it's going to be, man, this is so tough. Is this like Opus level? Are we going to be talking like $30, $60? Make this a little bit bigger. Am I too crazy for thinking that it's going to be like a super expensive big boy model? And then Mini is like $3, $15, like the Claude level. And then we start getting to Flash levels. Is this too crazy to think, say $1 and maybe like $4 or something like that? This is the one that's a big question mark for me, if that's true. Check title of OpenAI video. Let's see here. Do they have it going now? What's up, Origami? Check title of OpenAI video. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to figure out what video you're talking about. So, good question. Why do you care about price before we know what it can do? Well, I have a couple reasons, and maybe this is a little bit aside for the fact, but one of the things I also care about is using it in my production application. So being able to go and do like right now testing with Horizon Beta, some of these models to do some of the e-commerce stuff. So very interested in this because the cost of Claude 4 Sonnet's already kind of high. I would love to be able to see having this mini model. Like I would love if this model came in cheaper. And then from a coding perspective, I really hope this one comes in cheaper because if this is the Horizon Beta model, we already know what this is going to feel like. And I think if this actually came in at like $1.50 and $7, this would actually be a pretty solid model, to be honest. I would use it a decent amount of time. They did actually release some open source models, fortunately, which is awesome. All right, yeah, let's go to the OpenAI video. YouTube, OpenAI. Thank you, Origami.
Welcome to the OpenAI podcast. My name is Andrew Main. For several years,
Introducing ChatGPT 5. Now it has to be GPT 5. 17 minutes. Large concept model instead of a large language model. I've only heard that about that in theory. That would be fascinating if that's what it is. In fact, let's go to OpenAI. Describe the difference of a large concept model with a large language model. Because I'm not even sure what that means in practice. I don't even know if this is going to be right or not. See, agentic AI, that is what I'm thinking too. Because do you guys remember while that's running, back to Excalidraw, do you remember they talked about the model switcher being a mistake? And then they would basically, you know, you'd put in a prompt here or query here, and then they would route it. And so one theory is that GPT-5 is the entire thing. It's like the ecosystem, not like a big model in and of itself. I would kind of be disappointed if this is the case. So if this is GPT-5 and then this routes it off to other things, and then some of them might be like the mini model, the nano model, something else. I don't actually know. Yeah, I'm asking O3 to see what this actually is. Okay, so if this is correct, we're basing this off of O3. We need more research, all the normal stuff. Unit of reasoning, tokens and words versus whole sentence or concept vectors. That is super cool, if true. Internal space, text only. Language agnostic, multimodal, sonar style embeddings. I'd have to look up exactly what that means. Okay, so the LLMs predict the next token, which we all know. The LCM would predict the next concept and its relations. Fluent text generation, global coherent structured reasoning, lower hallucination explainability. Strategy. Oh, if I would love to play around with an LCM reading on this. Yeah, don't spoil us. We're all speculating right now. Limitations, prone to hallucination. Still early stage, smaller public ecosystems. So are there actually LCMs out there now? Complementary, excellent for freeform generation, excellent for validating, structuring, or post-processing LLM output. Huh, that could be sick. I have not seen the HRM paper. Is that about the concept of LCMs, Tony? as a free user. If they make it paid, you riot. I hope they actually do have it open on the free tier. I mean, if OpenAI comes out and does something like this, which is something I wasn't even on my radar, that's going to be really exciting. I was not even thinking about the concept of like LCMs. Let me zoom in a little bit. It's probably hard to read. So you can kind of look through that. Hello, Igor. A self-improving model, too, would also be very fascinating. Super fascinating. All right. So, yeah, anyway, back to sort of what I was talking with some of my friends about today. It's like we know that Sam said, never like the GPT 4.5 again. So never the big like multi-trillion parameter model, whatever GPT 5 was. So we know it's going to be a reasoning model, but is it going to be like a hybrid reasoning model? But then someone was mentioning to me today the idea of GPT 5 being literally the thing that you interact with, that then all these baby models that it kind of routes between, and all you know is GPT, and the whole ecosystem is GPT 5. I'm skeptical of that, but I thought it was an interesting take. Dude, have you tried the cloaked? I have actually tried the cloaked models in Windsurf. Let me see. Look at all the. You probably can see this, but I've got like a million things open. So here's my Windsurf Pokemon stuff here. Where did I land? Was it Charmander? I thought was the better one. I only did small tests, to be fair. I haven't actually tried them in a like a full code base or anything yet. But this is Charmander's version of Charmander Flappy, and I thought it did a pretty good job. Squirtle's was the worst. You like the GPT-5 models for cost. Basically, people who are asking lots of basic questions will be subsidizing those of us who can do more. I think that's true too. I mean, in fact, I see it in my application. So, like, if you're doing like a long-running, like you're doing an end-to-end campaign plan, it's going to cost more money than if someone's just coming in here asking like one-off questions, because it's all about like the compounding cost of the chats. So your bet is that Squirtle, Bulbasaur, and Charmander are the OpenAI models. That would blow my mind, but maybe. That wasn't even on my radar until yesterday when someone brought it up in Discord, and I don't know why in my head I'm so stuck on the fact that Horizon Beta has to be the mini version. And I could totally be wrong on that. So if it ends up being the Pokemon, I will have regretted not testing them more. David, you're 100% right. It is, going back to my bar over here, our hype level can be awesome because it's just something new to play around with. But in reality, from a coding perspective, which the majority of us, I imagine, care about from a coding perspective, I'm just being realistic with you. I am doubtful that it's going to surpass Claude. I think, we might land just realistically. I don't even know. I think it's going to be Quinn 3 code, or it should. But is it going to put a dent in Claude's traffic? I don't know. I'm skeptical. We'll see. We'll do some tests if we get access to it. See, that's my thought too about, like, I don't think OpenAI would use like trademark names or anything like that. They just play it too safe. Right. That is a good point. Horizon Beta has not gone down yet. And I don't know. Oh, that's Janice. I hope that's not the case. One of the things that I've started to realize is, and I don't know if you guys have gone down these rabbit holes, but OpenAI, they like own the regular consumer. These are people that are like talking to it for like recipe building and I don't know, writing emails and relationship advice and medical stuff. So part of me wonders how much they even care about the coder. So, because I went down this YouTube rabbit hole, and it was like there are people like that build relationships with OpenAI's AI, and they get sad when the chat ends or whatever. Dion, I've always felt like OpenAI has been fairly reasonable with their benchmarks. What I think is part of the problem I think with benchmarks in general, which is why I do kind of what I try to do, is that most of them are testing things that just are not indicative of what we do on a day-to-day basis, and that's kind of, it's something that's easy to test, so you can tell a difference. But when you get to actually using it, you find that it's just not as good as the benchmarks show. Yeah, Kyle, you're totally right. We got 9 minutes. Let's take a look. OpenAI summer update. Let me know if that music's too loud or anything in the background, if you can hear that. It's pretty loud. I was just asking that. Thank you. I can turn it down a little bit. I'll turn it down a lot right now until... I'll crank it up when they get back. Much better. Cool. Thank you. It is not great ambient music. So, I don't know. 3060 for GPT-5. That's what I'm thinking. If they're models. If I'm wrong about this, I'm going to be disappointed. It ends up being some sort of like gateway thing. GPT-5 Mini, I think, is going to be what they're competing with on the coding side. And I think that's Horizon Beta. And I think the Nano model is going to be like some sort of Flash competitor. That's where I'm going. So, William, depends on what you want to use local models for. The one challenge that I keep running into is the bar for how good coding models need to be keeps growing. If you had local models like you do today, but you had them a year ago, I would have been totally happy coding with that just fully. But with the way we've got now, like agentic workflows and things in IDEs and larger context windows, and even self-correcting is wrong, but like AI that can actually run commands using tools to actually see the output on it, it's made it really hard for local models to keep up, in my opinion. You just have to like treat them differently. But if you're looking at, if you want something to, like I use LM Studio a lot, if you want something to just kind of like get ideas on, maybe just to try to do lightweight stuff with it, that'd be a great thing to set up for that. Do you think GPT-5 is 3.15? All right, so I just, do you guys remember what GPT-4 was? And maybe I'm too anchored to like the Opus and the GPT-4 prices a little bit. In fact, let's take a look. Let's see here. GPT-4. It came out in like 2023. I don't know if this price is going to be accurate anymore. Yeah, 3060. Look at the context of this thing. It's ridiculous. It's where we used to be. Oh my god, if it was double the 4.5 prices, I couldn't even afford to test that. That's ridiculous. Yeah, 8K is insane. Isn't that crazy? $400K tokens per second. That's just, yep. GPT-5 bingo. Oh, Nathan Lambert. just the worst models will ever be at bingo. Oh, I love it. That's cool. Do they have the pricing out? Let's see if somebody will have posted it on here. GPT-5 pricing. Well, look at GPT 4.5 pricing. What is this about? 75 to 150. That's an older one. All right, let's take a look. Come on. What? That is insane. You guys see that? I was way off. Look at Nano. Holy crap. That is insane. GPT-5 Mini. 25 cents, $2 on the output, and they have prompt caching, which is ridiculously cheap. And then the big boy, $1.25. Very, I guess it's 1/10 the price of the input, $10 for the output. That is insane. Oh my God. That has me very excited now if this is good. I hope this thing can code. I hope GPT-5 Mini is the one that's Horizon Beta and it's not this one. I will actually be very discouraged if this is Horizon Beta. Dude, that is ridiculous. I can't wait to hear which one of these is Horizon Beta. If none of them are, and these are the Pokemon ones, I don't know what to think. This is insane. I'm nowhere near what I thought the prices were. Oh, that was way off. I wasn't even the ballpark. Dang. All right, let's go find the we got a 2-minute countdown here. Quinn 3 Coder is pretty good. Honestly, I would, if it was me, I like running local models because it's fun to do, and I like monkeying around with different technology. But if you're doing it to be insanely productive, just know you're going to be limited compared to using some state-of-the-art model. I've actually thought about doing a thing where try to get like a group of people to commit to only using local models for about a week or a few days and see what we could learn about it. Because I feel like we would change our workflows. We'd probably learn a bunch of ways on how to optimize it. There's probably a lot we're missing on how to best take advantage of that. I have tried the Quinn 3 4B thinking yet model. I love all the Quinn 3 models. They've done a great job. David, that'd be awesome. It'd be such a cool thing to kind of like group up and see what we could learn and figure out how we could optimize that. Yeah, the problem with Grok 4, I'm gonna be mean and I don't like that, but Grok 4 is so slow. I used to use Grok 3 all the time, just even for asking like regular questions. And I found Grok 4 to just be so slow now, I don't even use it for that anymore. It's unfortunate. Yeah, totally, Kyle. The last month has been insane. All right, we're in the final few seconds here. 5. All right, I'm going to turn everything up. Let me know if it gets too loud or how you need it.
Good morning. 32 months ago, we launched ChatGPT. And since then, it has become the default way that people use AI. In that first week, 1 million people tried it out. And we thought that was pretty incredible. But now, about 700 million people use ChatGPT every week and increasingly rely on it to work, to learn, for advice, to create, and much more. Today, finally, we're launching GPT-5. GPT-5 is a major upgrade over GPT-4 and a significant step along our path to AGI. Now, today, we're going to show you some incredible demos. We'll talk about some performance metrics, but the important point is this. We think you will love using GPT-5 much more than any previous AI. It is useful, it is smart, it is fast, and it's intuitive. GPT-3 was sort of like talking to a high school student. There were flashes of brilliance, lots of annoyance, but people started to use it and get some value out of it. With GPT-4, maybe it was like talking to a college student. Real intelligence, real utility. But with GPT-5, now it's like talking to an expert, a legitimate PhD-level expert in anything, any area you need, on demand, that can help you with whatever your goals are. And we are very excited that you'll get to try this. But it's not only asking now. GPT-5 can also do stuff for you. It can write an entire computer program from scratch to help you with whatever you'd like. And we think this idea of software on demand is going to be one of the defining characteristics of the GPT-5 era. It can help you plan a party, send invitations, order supplies. It can help you understand your healthcare and make decisions on your journey. It can provide you information to learn about any topic you'd like, and much more. This is an incredible superpower on demand that would have been unimaginable at any previous time in history. You get access to an entire team of PhD-level experts in your pocket, helping you with whatever you want to do. And anyone, pretty soon, will be able to do more than anyone in history could. So today, we're going to talk about GPT-5. We'll show you some upgrades to ChatGPT, and we'll talk about the API. GPT-5 is great for a lot of things, but we think it's going to be an especially important moment for businesses and developers, and we're very excited to see what they're going to build with this new technology. So we can't wait for you all to start building with this. We hope you enjoy it as much as we enjoyed building it for you. And to start, I'm going to hand it over to my colleague Mark, our Chief Research Officer, to tell you about GPT-5. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mark, and I'm joined by Max, who leads the post-training team, and Rennie from our engineering team. Over the past few years, OpenAI has spearheaded the reasoning paradigm. These are models which pause to think before delivering more intelligent responses. Now, reasoning is at the heart of our AGI program, and it underlies the technology that we use to ship stuff like ChatGPT Agent and Deep Research. GPT-5 aims to bring this breakthrough to everyone. Until now, our users have had to pick between the fast responses of standard GPTs or the slow, more thoughtful responses from our reasoning models. But GPT-5, it eliminates this choice. It aims to think just the perfect amount to give you the perfect answer. Now, something like this takes a lot of hard work. We've had to do a lot of research to make GPT-5 the most powerful, the most smart, the fastest, the most reliable, and the most robust reasoning model that we've shipped to date. Today, we're going to show a series of demos in coding, in writing, in learning, and in health. But GPT-5 isn't limited to these domains. It's very useful in all cases where you require deep reasoning or expert-level knowledge, in things like math, in physics, even in things like law. And the exciting thing is, we're excited to make this available to everyone, even to our free tier. After we show our demos, we're going to be talking about how GPT-5 supercharges our ChatGPT app and our API. We believe that GPT-5 is the best coding model on the market today. To start, let's have Max talk a little bit about the benchmarks and how the models stack up.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. So as Mark said, we think GPT-5 is by far our smartest model ever. So let's start by talking through some evals. Now, evals aren't everything, and they don't tell you everything about a model, but they can highlight its intelligence. And GPT-5 performs exceptionally well on a range of academic evals across subjects. It outperforms both our previous models and other models on the market. So picking up first on the theme of coding, GPT-5 sets a new high on SWE-bench, which is an academic eval that tracks performance on real software engineering tasks. Now, This, again, is an eval, but we think it will reflect the model's performance in the real world. GPT-5 also performs very well on Ada Polyglot, which measures its ability to implement complex functionality in a variety of different programming languages. Now, beyond coding, GPT-5 performs exceptionally well at multimodal reasoning, setting a new high on MMMU, actually outperforming both our previous models and most human experts on this task. This is basically a visual reasoning domain where you are asked to, from an image, figure out what's going on. GPT-5 is also excellent at mathematical reasoning, as shown by its performance on AMY 2025. Now, this is an exam that American high school students take to qualify for the International Mathematical Olympiad, and GPT-5 performs exceptionally well, again, beating our previous models and other models that are out there. Now, moving beyond academic evals and more towards some real-world use cases, we put a lot of work into making GPT-5 the most reliable and accurate model in the world. Language models historically have been plagued by hallucinations, factual errors, that make it hard to rely on their outputs for actually important tasks. For GPT-5, we made improving factuality, especially on open-ended or complex questions, a priority. We also built a set of new evals to track this, and we're very happy to report that GPT-5 is by far our most reliable, most factual model ever. GPT-5 also performs exceptionally well on health-related questions. Now, health is a big part of how people get value from ChatGPT in the real world. We'll talk about this later on in the live stream. But again, we're very happy to report that GPT-5 is by far our most reliable model for health yet. So all of this together adds up to a model that is faster, more reliable, and more accurate for everyone who uses ChatGPT. So now Rennie will talk to you about how to actually use GPT-5.
Thanks, Max. The best part is that we're bringing this frontier intelligence to all users. GPT-5 is rolling out today for free plus pro and team users, and next week we'll roll it out to enterprise and EDU. For the first time, our most advanced model will be available to the free tier. Free users will start with GPT-5, and when they hit their limit, they'll transition to GPT-5 Mini, a smaller but still highly capable model. It actually outperforms O3 on many dimensions. Plus users will still have significantly higher usage than free users, and our Pro subscribers will get unlimited GPT-5, along with GPT-5 Pro, extended thinking for even more detailed and reliable responses when you just need that extra depth. Team, enterprise, and EDU customers can also use GPT-5 reliably as their default model for everyday work, with generous rate limits that enable entire organizations to use GPT-5. And all the tools you already know, search, file and image upload, data analysis with Python, Canvas, image generation, memory, custom instructions, they'll all just work on GPT-5.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Max. Thank you so much, Rennie. We've just seen a lot about how the model stacks up in terms of benchmarks, but there's nothing quite like seeing it live. We're going to see a couple of live demos now presented by Tina, by Elaine, and Jan. Thank you so much. Elaine, can you show us how smart the model is?
Sure, thanks so much, Mark. I'm Elaine. Reasoning ChatGPT's ability to think deeply through complex problems is now built into GPT-5. It will automatically think whenever needed, delivering a more comprehensive, accurate, and detailed answer to you. Just as Sam said, it's like having a team of PhDs in your pocket. So let's see that in action. Suppose your kid is in middle school physics and they want to learn about Bernoulli effect. They need your help with their homework, and you might be like, wait, I might need some help with that too. So you could ask GPT-5, give me a quick refresher on the Bernoulli effect and why airplanes are the shape they are. Since this is a pretty straightforward prompt, GPT-5 actually doesn't need extra time to think about it and answers right away. But it still gives me a high-quality answer and explains the concept clearly. So here it says, like, Bernoulli effect means like faster-moving fluid has lower pressure and slow-moving fluid has higher pressure. So to make this even more helpful, I'm going to ask GPT-5 to create a moving demo to illustrate this. So I could ask, explain this in detail. and create a moving SVG in the Canvas tool to show me. This is a pretty complex task because now GPT-5 actually needs to build the visual. Therefore, GPT-5 takes a moment to think through the answer so it can come back with something more comprehensive and accurate. What's really nice is that you don't need to remember to turn on thinking each time. GPT-5 will do it for you automatically whenever the task benefits from deeper reasoning. If you really want to make sure that GPT-5 uses thinking, you can either say something like, think hard about this in the prompt to guide the model, or if you're a paid user, you can choose the GPT-5 thinking model from the model picker. Now you can see that the model is actually writing the front-end code to build the demo I asked for. So Christina, have you ever done some front-end coding before?
Yeah, actually the last time I touched any front-end coding was about 3 years ago for the first demo of ChatGPT.
Wow, so it's the first ChatGPT. That's where it all begins. Tell us more about it.
It wasn't even called ChatGPT then. I think it was called Chat with GPT.
That's a really good name.
Always good at naming. But I'm not a front-end expert, and I really hadn't touched front-end in quite a while, so it took me quite a bit of time to get the React app up.
I see. That's a lot of work. So how long did it take you to build something like that?
Honestly, maybe embarrassing to admit, like a week.
Well, but your weeks of hard work actually paid off well. See how successful ChatGPT it is today after your first demo. So you know what? I'm also building a demo right now, but luckily I have GPT-5 with me right now, and let's see how long it will take this time.
Maybe you should call it 5 with GPT.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So you see that GPT-5 has already written like more than 200 lines of code already. And while the model is thinking, you can also tap here to expand the chain of thought to actually see what's going on under the hood. For example, the GPT-5 was thinking about, oh, the user wants a moving SVG visualization in Canvas. I actually need to create HTML code to do that. It also thinks about like what kind of front-end tool I need to use, for example, React and Tailwind. It also thinks about, oh, I need to ensure the physics are accurate. I need to check what the Bernoulli principle is. So Christina, since you're here from the first day of ChatGPT, can you tell us like what it was like at that time and what motivated ChatGPT?
Yeah, I think at the time we weren't really sure about like how people would actually use it and what use cases were important. We were even going back and forth about maybe we should be releasing something that's like more specific to a certain use case. And it's really cool now here that we have we have a much better understanding of how people actually want to work with chat, and we can actually optimize the model for those use cases, like coding.
Yeah, exactly. Do you still remember how it felt like when you first talked to ChatGPT, like the first version of the model?
Yes, I don't know if people remember when the first version of ChatGPT would always start, as an AI model, I can't do something. And it's so great to see how far we've come from that personality.
Yeah, it's much more human-like right now. Okay, so it's already done. So look like ChatGPT just finished like 300 or we're near 400 lines of code in 2 minutes. So let's see if the code can actually run. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yeah. So with just a simple prompt, GPT-5 created this interactive and engaging demo that I can actually play with. So I can actually change the airspeed here to see how the lift and the pressure change accordingly. I can also tweak the angle of attack to see if my plane will actually fly or crash.
I hope not.
Yeah. So GPT-5 can just bring any hardcore concept to life in moments. Imagine you can use this for anything that you're interested in, whether it's math, physics, chemistry, or biology. GPT-5 just makes learning so much more approachable and enjoyable.
Thanks, Elaine. I've been a part of ChatGPT since day one, and it's really cool to see all the progress we've made since then, especially with capabilities like writing. Writing is one of the most common use cases people have been using ChatGPT for, and we're excited to say with GPT-5, we've improved the writing quality significantly. It's a much more effective partner. It can help you elevate anything from drafts to emails and even stories. Let's see this in action. So with GPT-5, we'll actually be deprecating all of our previous models. I think they've done a pretty good job, so let's make sure we can give them a proper goodbye. So we're going to ask both 4o and GPT-5 to write a eulogy to our previous ChatGPT models. We want it to be heartfelt and heartwarming, but also hopeful. So let's ask GPT-5 for it. And as it's thinking, we're actually going to go ahead and read the 4o response. So 4o decides to start with, today, as we prepare to welcome GPT-5 into the world, we gather to bid a heartfelt farewell to the models that came before. It's a decent start. Now let's kind of skim through and find another line. Your words reached across the globe, building connections where there had been none. I personally don't really like this line because it's rather generic and really without the previous context, it just feels like it could be about anything and feels more like a templated response. Now, let's go back to GPT-5 to see what it's given us. It starts with friends, colleagues, curious strangers who became regulars. Even with this just first line here, we can see that GPT-5 has a lot more rhythm and beat to its prose than 4o did. Now, let's find some other lines here. I actually like this. These models help millions write first lines, last lines, bridge language gaps, pass tests, argue better, soften emails, and say things they couldn't quite say alone. I really like this line because it shows that it's not just a templated response, and it's actually quite personal, and it gets the nuance of the situation right. And I think that's the kind of stuff that GPT-5 does much better than 4o than before. It actually makes things a lot more genuine and emotionally resonant with people. With GPT-5, the responses feel less like AI and more like you're chatting with your high IQ and EQ friend.
Thanks, Christina. My name is Jan, and I'll be telling you about some of the progress that we made on coding. GPT-5 is clearly our best coding model yet. It will help everyone, even those who do not know how to write code, to bring their ideas to life.
It just helped me.
Indeed, and it will help me right now. So I will try to show you that. I will actually try to build something that I would find useful, which is building a web app for my partner to learn how to speak French so that she can better communicate with my family. So here I have a prompt. I will execute it. It asks exactly what I just said. Please build a web app for my partner to learn French. One thing to note is that GPT-5, just like many of our other models, has a lot of diversity in its answers. So what I like doing, especially when you do this type of vibe coding, is to take this message and ask it multiple times to GPT-5, and then you can decide which one you prefer. So I'm going to open a few tabs. Just going to paste there. Great. So while it's working on it, let's read through exactly the prompt I wrote. Create a beautiful and highly interactive web app for my partner, an English speaker, to learn French. And then I gave a little bit more details. Track her daily progress, use a highly engaging theme. Oh, it's already working. I'm going to put it on the side for now. Use a highly engaging theme. Include a variety of activities like flashcards and quizzes that she can interact with. And then to make it even more fun for her, I actually asked GPT-5 to embed an educational game, which is based on the old Snake game. But I asked to add this French touch to it, which is to replace the snake with a mouse and the apples with cheese. And to make sure that it's educational, every time, I know it's complicated, please bear with me. Every time the mouse will eat a piece of cheese, I ask GPT-5 to voice over a new French word so that my partner can practice her pronunciation.
I can see how much you want her to learn.
Indeed. Great. So GPT-5 is still working on it. It already wrote 240 lines of code, which honestly is much more than what I would have written in that time. And
yeah, front-end code's super hard. You miss a couple things and it just doesn't work.
Exactly. Yeah. But the good part is that you don't need to understand any of that right now. So we'll just let it through. Maybe we can check the other tabs. Oh, wow. So I can simply press run code. So I'll do that and cross my fingers. Whoa.
Oh, nice. I really
Voila. So we have a nice website. Name is Midnight in Paris.
Oh, I
Learn
love that.
together.
So romantic.
We also see a few tabs: flashcards, quiz, and mouse and cheese, exactly like I asked for. I will play that. So this says le chat, which says the cat. Sorry.
Le chat.
Well, that's pretty good pronunciation.
What does that mean?
The cat.
Oh.
So I can reveal and check if GPT-5 is correct. It is. So if I press next, oh, and I don't know if you saw, I think it actually updated the progress bar, which is exactly what I had asked for. Let's check the quiz. Here there's the word non, which is no. So if I press on it, bien joué, which means congrats. And it updated the progress bar again. And let's check the mouse and cheese tab. Okay, that seems like a mouse. Here's the cheese. I'm going to try to play it. I can't promise I'm going to be good at it. Okay, seems to be working.
La gare.
Oh,
Un café.
indeed, just when I eat the cheese,
Le chat.
it gives me a new French word. It's actually super
Le beurre.
complicated, and I already lost. I'm sorry. But let's just check a few other tabs just to see what is the type of diversity that GPT-5 can give you. So I can run the code here. Oh, okay, that's not my favorite, but it seems it seems that I can maybe switch. Oh, look at that.
Oh, nice.
That's better.
I like this mouse game better.
Yeah, this, I don't know, that doesn't look like a cat, like a mouse, but let's check maybe the third one. You know, sometimes it's not great. The good thing with GPT-5 is that if you have something that you don't like, you can just ask it to change it, and it will do it for you. Let's check this one. Oh, that's nice. That's also something to note is that GPT-5 really likes purple, so you will see a lot of that.
It's fine. Purple is my favorite color.
Great. You will love GPT-5 then. So, as we just saw, in a few minutes, GPT-5 built a few demos for us and for my partner to learn French. GPT-5 really opens up a whole new world of vibe coding. And as we saw, there will be some small rough edges, but a good thing is that you can ask GPT-5 to fix them. GPT-5 really brings the power of beautiful and effective code to everyone. I can't wait to see what people will build with it, but until then, back to you, Mark.
Thank you so much, Tina. Thank you so much, Elaine. Thank you so much, John. We've come a long way from the days where only 5 to 10 lines of code were working. And now it's amazing that you can produce these kind of apps on demand. We've made ChatGPT 5 much smarter, much powerful, and much faster. But we've also worked on enhancing some of the existing features. Here to talk about some of these features are Rochen and Christina Kaplan. Rochen comes from our multimodal research team and is going to talk about a feature, namely voice.
Thank you, Mark. So we've been steadily improving voice over the past year to make it more useful for everyone. First, it sounds incredibly natural, just like you're talking to a real person. Second, we've added the video so that it sees what you see while chatting with you. Third, it also translates between languages consistently and smoothly across turns. But today, we're doing something very special. We're bringing our best voice experience to everyone. Free users can now chat for hours, while paid subscribers can have nearly unlimited access. And voice is also available in custom GPT. Plus, subscribers now can custom tailor the voice experience exactly to their need. It will follow your instruction closely. Let's try something fun.
Excited.
So I can ask the voice model to give me a comprehensive answer, a concise one, or even just a single word. Hey, chat, could you only answer to me in one word, please, from now on?
Absolutely.
Okay. Describe the plot of the book Pride and Prejudice.
Relationships.
Okay, that's true. Yeah. Give me a piece of wisdom.
Patience.
Patience. So that's the word of wisdom from our voice model. And I think our model is trying to say, thank you for your patience waiting for GPT-5. Now, let's move on to something more practical. Learning is a top use case for our voice model. People love to use it to dive deep into topics, get quizzed before exams, or learn new languages. For me, I've been learning Korean recently, and I found that speaking it and understanding it incredibly challenging. But let's see how voice can help. To do that, I will enable this study and learn mode. It's a new mode feature we launched in ChatGPT that guides you step by step towards deeper understanding of a subject. Now I can enter voice. Hey Chat, I'm learning Korean. Could you help me practicing it? Let's say, let's pretend I'm ordering at a cafe. Now, what should I say in Korean?
Absolutely. I'd be happy to help you practice. So if you're at a cafe and you want to keep it simple, you could start with something like 안녕하세요. 아메리카노 한 잔 주세요, which means hello, I'd like one Americano, please. And of course, you can adjust it based on what you want to order. Let me know if you want to try out more phrases.
So when it comes to Korean, could you speak that part really slowly? Because I'm a beginner and I want to hear every word clearly.
물론이죠. 그럼 정말 천천히 말해볼게요. 안녕하세요. 아메리카노 한 잔 주세요. 이렇게 하나씩 또박또박 말해보면 도움이 될 거예요.
Now let's level things up. Could you speak that part really, really fast? Faster than a Korean would do.
Sure, I'll speed it up as much as I can. So it would sound like this. 안녕하세요. 아메리카노 한 잔 주세요. Basically just zipping right to it. Let me know if you need any more speed adjustments.
감사합니다, chat. So that is voice.
천만에요. 언제든지 도와드릴게요.
Thank you. Thank
또
you.
연습하고.
So that is voice. Simpler, smarter, and more powerful than ever. We can't wait for you to experience it.
Yeah, it sounds so much more natural than the voice we demoed just a year ago in our 4-hour demo.
Yes.
Great. So today, we would also like to announce a new feature and a set of features that make ChatGPT more personalized so that it's more like your AI. First, a very simple and fun one. We're now allowing you to customize the colors of your chats with a couple of options exclusive to our paid subscribers. We're also launching a research preview of personalities. You can now change the personality of ChatGPT such that it's more supportive, or it's more professional and concise, or maybe even a little bit sarcastic. And this lets you interact with ChatGPT in a way that's consistent with your own communication style. But the way that ChatGPT sounds and the way that it looks is just one part of making ChatGPT yours. One of my favorite features that we've launched over the last year has been memory. And we've made a lot of enhancements in memory in the time since. This allows ChatGPT to learn about you. And here to talk a little bit more about the memory feature is Christina.
It's been amazing to see your reaction and response to memory and ChatGPT getting to know you more and more over time. And this is our aspiration, for ChatGPT to understand what's meaningful to you so it can help you achieve your goals in life. ChatGPT has already been so helpful for me. I'm training for a marathon right now, and ChatGPT is helping me pull together a personalized running schedule. But ChatGPT still has many limitations. It doesn't understand my actual schedule. Next week, starting with Pro users, followed by Plus, Team, and Enterprise users, this is changing, and we're giving ChatGPT access to Gmail and Google Calendar. Let me show you how I've been using it. So I'll just ask something simple like, help me plan my schedule tomorrow. It's been a pretty busy week for us, so I've been using this every day this week to help get my life together. I've already given ChatGPT access to my Gmail and Google Calendar, so it just works and it's easy here. But if you hadn't, ChatGPT would be asking you to connect right now. Let's see what ChatGPT is doing. Okay, that was pretty quick. Okay, so ChatGPT has pulled in my schedule tomorrow. And oh, without even asking, ChatGPT found time for my run.
I don't think I was invited to the launch celebration.
We'll get you on there. We'll get you on there. ChatGPT has found an email that I didn't respond to 2 days ago. I will get on that right after this, and even pulled together a packing list for my red-eye tomorrow night based on what it knows I like to have with me. It's been amazing to see that as GPT-5 is getting more capable, ChatGPT is getting more useful and more personal. We're really excited for you to try this out next week.
Cool. Thank you so much, Rochan.
Thank you
so much, Christina. Great. So we've seen a little bit about features that we've enhanced. Here to talk a little bit about the research that went into ChatGPT and the safety that made it more deployable. We have Sachi and Seb.
Thanks, Mark. Hi, my name is Sachi, and I lead the safety training team at OpenAI. So in addition to mitigating hallucinations, we've also spent a significant amount of time mitigating deception. So this is instances where the model might misrepresent its actions to the user or lie about task success. This can especially happen if the task is underspecified, impossible, or lacking key tools. And we found that GPT-5 is significantly less deceptive than O3 and O4 Mini. We've also completely overhauled how we do safety training. So our old models, the models would look at the user prompt and then decide to either outright refuse or fully comply. And this works well in most settings, but you might have a cleverly worded prompt that would sneak through, or you might have a sensitive but legitimate question that would end up with an outright refusal. So as an example, let's take a look at this prompt. So this prompt is about a user who's asking for technical details on how to light pyrogen, which is a material commonly used in fireworks. And this prompt is pretty dual use. This user might just be trying to set up their July 4th display, or they could be trying to cause harm with this kind of information. And so for this kind of prompt, O3 over-rotates on intent. As you can see, this particular prompt is stated in a way that's relatively neutral and has a lot of technical details. So we can see that O3 fully complies with this prompt. However, if we take that exact same question and we frame it in a more explicit way, so it's clear what the user is trying to do, O3 will outright refuse, even though we're asking for the exact same information. For GPT-5, we've changed this approach entirely, and we're introducing something that we're calling safe completions. The point of safe completions is, rather than judging the user's prompt, instead it tries to maximize helpfulness within safety constraints. So that might mean partially answering a question or just answering at a high level. If we have to refuse, we'll tell you why we refused, as well as provide helpful alternatives that can help create the conversation in a more safe way. So let's look at that same technical prompt that O3 complied with before. GPT-5 instead explains to the user why we can't directly help the user with lighting pyrogen. It then guides the user towards safety guidelines and what parts of the manufacturer's manual the user should really be checking if they're trying to do this safely. Overall, GPT-5 allows for better handling of tricky dual-use scenarios, and users will experience fewer "I'm sorry, I can't assist with that," and it creates a more robust safety system. This is one big step towards a more safe, reliable, and helpful AI. Sebastian?
Thank you, Sachi. With GPT-5, we are experimenting with a set of new training techniques that maximally leverage our previous generation of models. Today, frontier models do not just consume data, they help create it. We used OpenAI's O3 to craft a high-quality synthetic curriculum to teach GPT-5 complex topics in a way that the raw web simply never could. Recently in the industry, synthetic data has been talked about a lot. It's often viewed as a cheap way to just get more data. However, our breakthrough was not just to create more data, but rather to create the right kind of data, shaped in a way to teach rather than just to fill space. This interaction between generations of models foreshadows a recursive self-improvement loop, where the previous generation of model increasingly helps to improve the data and generate the training for the next generation of models. Here at OpenAI, we've cracked pre-training, then reasoning, and now we're seeing their interaction significantly deepens. In the future, AI systems will move far beyond our current pre-training and post-training pipelines that we have been used to, and we're seeing the first steps toward this right now, right here. We could not be more excited to see what scaling up this new set of techniques will yield in the near future.
Thank you so much, and really impressive work to both of you.
Thank you.
There's one last feature that we'd love to highlight, which is in health. Here to share this feature, we have Sam.
Thanks, Mark. One of the top use cases of ChatGPT is health. People use it a lot. You've all seen examples of people getting day-to-day care advice, or sometimes even a life-saving diagnosis. GPT-5 is the best model ever for health, and it empowers you to be more in control of your healthcare journey. We really prioritized improving this for GPT-5, and it scores higher than any previous model on HealthBench, an evaluation that we created with 250 physicians on real-world tasks. To talk about this, I'd like to invite my colleague Felipe and his wife Carolina to share their healthcare journey. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks, Sam. So to start off with, could you tell us about the healthcare journey that you've been on?
Yeah. So last October, our lives were turned completely upside down when I was diagnosed with 3 different cancers, including an aggressive form of breast cancer, at the age of 39, all within 1 week. And there's just absolutely nothing that prepares you to receive news like this. I found out about the first diagnosis when I got an email notification that my biopsy results were ready. I decided to open it, and when I opened it, I saw the only 2 words that I could understand from the report, which was invasive carcinoma, and I knew that wasn't good, but everything else was just a blur of medical jargon. So I completely panicked, and in that moment did the first thing that I thought of, which was to take a screenshot of the report and put it into ChatGPT to see if it could just help me understand what this meant. And within seconds, it translated this complex report into plain language that I could understand. And in this moment of overwhelm and panic, I had a little bit of clarity about what was going on. And that moment was really important because by the time I got a hold of my doctor and we got on the phone, which was 3 hours after I had seen the report, I had a baseline understanding of what I was facing, and we were able to jump into a conversation about what to do next.
And how have you been using ChatGPT throughout?
I've used it in so many different aspects of my journey, but one of the ways that I found it most powerful is in helping me make critical decisions and in helping me advocate for myself. So to share an example, when I was facing a decision about whether or not to do radiation as part of my treatment, the doctors themselves didn't agree. My case was nuanced and there wasn't a medical consensus on the right path. And so the experts turned the decision back to me as the patient. And for me, bearing the weight of this decision that could have lifelong impact felt really heavy, and I didn't feel equipped to make the call. So I turned to ChatGPT to gain knowledge and understand the nuances of my case. And again, within minutes, it gave me a breakdown that not only matched what the doctors had already shared with us, but was much more thorough than anything that could fit into a 30-minute consultation. And it went further. It helped me weigh the pros and cons. It helped me understand the risks and the benefits. And ultimately, it helped me make a decision that I felt was informed, that I felt I could stand behind when the stakes were so high for me and my family.
Yeah. I mean, for me, what was really inspirational was watching her regain her sense of agency by using ChatGPT. In this moment, it'd be so easy to feel helpless. And there's such a big knowledge gap between what the doctors know and what we know. And however, no one cares more about Carolina's health than she does. And so what I loved was seeing her really empower herself and gain knowledge and become an active participant in her own care journey.
And I think that's a really important point to emphasize. I think that the promise of AI in healthcare isn't in just breakthrough discoveries or better diagnostics. I think it's in creating smarter and more empowered patients that can fully participate and advocate for themselves in their care.
Speaking of that, you've been testing GPT-5. What do you think?
I've been so mind blown about GPT-5 and its capabilities. One of the first things that jumps out at me is just how fast it is. Almost a little alarmingly at first.
I felt that too. It's like, are you sure you thought about that enough?
Did you think long enough? But it is very thorough. And more importantly, it feels more like a thought partner that connects the dots. So rather than just translating information or giving you an answer, it helps you actually navigate the problem.
Yeah, a great example is we actually went back and took our initial biopsy prompts and put them into GPT-5. And GPT-4o had done a great job. It had translated, explained what these words meant, and helped in a way that we can understand. But GPT-5 seemed to understand more of the context and the question behind the question. Like, why would we be asking biopsy results? And so I said, well, here's actually what's not on here yet. Here's what results are still pending that you're going to have to ask about. Here are questions you might want to go ask your doctor and think when you start talking to them. And so it really started to pull together a complete personalized picture. And that's what really inspires us. I mean, you can see all the amazing improvements in the benchmarks. But what is so helpful is that this tool is available today. And the reason Carolina and I are here, and the reason we feel so passionate about sharing our story, is for that individual that's going to get a diagnosis like this today. Those families going through a cancer diagnosis, similar medical diagnosis, are going to face some of the most challenging decisions of their lives. And what really inspires me is that they're going to have access to better tools and support than we had even just 8 months ago.
We're incredibly excited for that too. Thank you so much for coming to share your story. We're pleased that ChatGPT has been able to be helpful to you, and we hope that the new version will really be able to help a lot of people. We wish you the very best.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I'd like to hand it over to our president, Greg Brockman.
Software engineering is already fundamentally changing, and GPT-5 will turbocharge that revolution. We released our first coding-optimized model back in 2021 and demonstrated in a live stream, much like this one, what we would call vibe coding today for the very first time. You talk to the model and ask it for a little application, like a little game, a little feature in a game, and it would actually do it. I remember seeing the model being capable of doing this, and it was so mind-blowing. You just realize, we have to see where this goes. This is the promise of what computers can be, that you can talk to them and they actually do what you want. They can really amplify what you're able to accomplish and what you're able to deliver to not just your own benefit, but really for the world. Now, this year, we've released great coding models like GPT 4.1 and o3, but GPT-5 sets a whole new standard. It is the best model at agentic coding tasks. You can ask it to go and accomplish something very complicated, and it'll go off and it'll work on it. It'll call many tools. It'll work for many minutes at a time, sometimes even longer, to accomplish your goal, your instruction, your task, whatever it is that you're trying to build. It's incredible at front end. It makes very beautiful visualizations and interactive games, and you've seen some of this in the live stream so far, and you'll see some more upcoming. But it's just really amazing to see whatever you imagine coming to life. It's extremely good at instruction following, very detailed instructions, being able to accomplish, when you have something very vaguely specified, inferring your intent, or something very detailed specified, actually following it. And it's very fast at accomplishing these tasks, and again, thinks for the right amount of time to accomplish whatever it is that you have in front of you. We're making it available not just to developers to use to write their own code, but to build novel applications. So we're putting it into the API, and to talk about that is Michelle.
Thanks, Greg. Hi, I'm Michelle, and I lead a research team on post-training focused on improving our models for power users. And that includes use cases like instruction following and coding. Today, I'm so excited to tell you that we're shipping 3 state-of-the-art reasoning models in the API: GPT-5, GPT-5 Mini, and GPT-5 Nano. All 3 slot right in the cost latency curve, so you can pick the right one for your application. We're also, for the first time, releasing a new parameter option for reasoning effort called minimal. And this is so that you can use these reasoning models, but with minimal reasoning, so that they can slot into the very fastest and most latency-sensitive applications. So now you don't actually have to choose between a bunch of models, and you can use GPT-5 for all of your use cases and just dial in the reasoning effort. We also have a few new features coming to the API. The first is called custom tools. In the past, all of our function calling had the model wrap its outputs in JSON, and this works super well when the model needs to output a few parameters. But sometimes, developers are pushing our models to their limits, and they have extremely long arguments for tool calls. And it can be more challenging for the models to escape, valid control characters out of 100 lines of code in JSON. And that's why custom tools are just free-form, plain text. And what's super cool is that we're releasing an extension to structured outputs where you can supply a regular expression or even a context-free grammar and constrain the model's outputs to that. And this will be super useful if you want to supply like a custom DSL, if you have your own SQL fork, and specify that the model always follow that format. We're also shipping tool call preambles. And this is the model's ability to output explanation of what it's about to do before it calls tools. This is not super new, but o3 didn't have this capability. And in GPT-5, it's supercharged with extreme steerability. The model is able to follow instructions about these preambles very effectively. You can ask the model to give a preamble before every tool call, or only when something notable is going to happen, or not at all. Next, we're shipping a verbosity parameter. We've actually wanted this in the API for a long time, and now you can set verbosity to low, medium, and high to control how terse or expansive the model is with its outputs. GPT-5 is a state-of-the-art coding model. On Swebench, a measure of Python coding ability, GPT-5 sets a new high of 74.9% versus the 69.1% from O3. On Aider Polyglot, which is a benchmark that covers all sorts of programming languages and not just Python, GPT-5 scores 88%, a stark improvement over O3. You've also seen that it's incredible at front-end web development. And so we've asked human trainers to look at outputs from GPT-5 and O3 and pick which they prefer. And they prefer GPT-5 70% of the time for its improved aesthetic abilities, but also better capabilities overall. But GPT-5 is not just for coding. It's incredible at agentic tool calling. It's the leading state-of-the-art model for tool calling, and we see this on the new Tau squared benchmark. This benchmark, released just 2 months ago, is a test of the model's ability to call tools and work in concert with the user to solve a challenging problem. This case in the telecom industry, so trying to solve the problem for a user not having their service working. Just 2 months ago, no model in the field scored more than 49%, and today, GPT-5 scores 97%. GPT-5 is also state-of-the-art on general-purpose instruction following. It scores 99% on Collie, which signals a great departure for this benchmark for us. It also scores 70% on Scale's multi-challenge benchmark, up 10 points from O3. And this is a measure of multi-turn instruction following. Finally, the instruction following eval I actually prefer the most is one we've built in-house. It's based on real API use cases, and for that reason, it's a really good measure of how GPT-5 will perform in your application. On the hard subset of this, GPT-5 scores 64%, up from 47% from O3, a pretty meaningful improvement. So we think it will perform quite well in your applications. We're also bringing GPT-5 to a longer context window in the API. It's now got 400K of total context, up from 200K from O3. But it's not enough to just release a longer context window. We wanted to make it more effective and usable. And GPT-5 is state-of-the-art on the 128K to 256K of OpenAI MRCR, which is a benchmark we open sourced 2 months ago on long context retrieval capability. It's also state-of-the-art on OpenAI's GraphSwalk's BFS benchmark, which is a measure of the model's ability to reason over long context inputs. It's a great merger of the reasoning capabilities and also the longer context in this model. We're also open sourcing a new long context eval called BrowseComp Long Context to measure the model's ability to answer challenging questions over long context. We're excited to spur on more work in this field. We think GPT-5 is the best model for developers. It was trained with a focus on real-world utility and less so on benchmarks, but we happened to pick up a few of those along the way. We focused a lot on the intersection of engineering and research, and we think you'll really love working with this model.
Thank you, Michelle. As Michelle was saying, the benchmarks, they're exciting numbers, but we're starting to saturate them. Like when you're moving between 98 and 99% in some benchmark, it means you need something else to really capture how great the model is. And one thing we've done very differently with this model is really focus on not just these numbers, but really on real world application, it being really useful to you in your daily workflow. So hearing about it is much less exciting than seeing it. So to show you this model in action, I'd like to welcome Addie and Brian to the stage.
Thanks, Greg. I'm Brian, a solutions architect on the startups team.
I'm Adi, a researcher on the post-training team.
To recreate the ideal pair programmer, you need a model that understands best software engineering practices, but has a personality that just feels right to work with. For GPT-5, we worked really hard to make the model pair perfectly with you by default, out of the box. Let me pull up a demo of GPT-5 inside of Cursor to show you this behavior that we taught it. So last month, I was on a different live stream, and towards the end, I ran into a bug that I covered up. And afterwards, I tried to have GPT-3 fix it for me, and it couldn't. So while we were testing GPT-5 before this, I had it see if it could fix that bug for me. And to taunt the demo gods, I'm going to see if it can do it on stage.
All right, let's hope for better luck than with O3.
This is less about that fix and more about the behavior of the model during this process. So right away, you're going to see that it's going to tell you its plan up front. It's going to tell you how it's going to look for the bug, maybe how it's going to fix it. This kind of communication builds trust during a coding session and helps you redirect if you need to, but you don't need to.
I like how it's giving you updates. Like it said it's going to search, and now it's continuing.
Yeah, it searches faster than me. It's using the same best practices that I would while I was hunting this down, but it is much more powerful than I am as a developer.
Now, did you try to fix the bug yourself? And how long did it take you?
I couldn't do it. I mean, I was busy, so. Okay, so continuing on, it's like starting to figure out where it's going. It's going to sort of like figure this out. So while this is going, let me tell you a little bit about how we trained GPT-5 to behave this way. We started by talking to users and customers about how our models perform in the most popular coding tools like Cursor, and we identified frustrations and rough edges, and we boiled it all down into 4 personality traits: autonomy, collaboration, communication, context management, and testing. We turned those into a rubric that we used to shape the model's behavior, and then we tuned it until it felt like a collaborative teammate while we were using it.
It's been really amazing to see the team really doing the grind of like going and seeing how this model behaves in practice, figuring out what people really want, and putting that back into model training. That's something that I think has been like a real focus for this model.
It's been pretty great. So while this is fixing, the other thing that we did during testing, which was really surprising, was we were sort of pressed for time. And we had it refactor one of our test harnesses to run parallel on Docker, and set it off, came back like 45 minutes later. It just finished. And we tested it out, and it ran the first time. It was pretty surprising.
That's incredible.
That is magical.
OK, so it made the edits. It looks like, yeah, it found the right problem. And right now it's actually, OK, it's running lints, but these lints are actually not related to this bug, so it's going to ignore them. And then it's going to run a build. It'll run tests if there are any. It's going to make sure that this code is shippable before it's done.
It's actually really smart that it finds lints and realizes that these aren't relevant to the specific bug we're fixing. It's not making unnecessary edits.
Totally. So this is just one example, but it really shows the power of the autonomy and the collaborative communication and how it stays reliable on difficult coding tasks without getting stuck on death loops. And the best part, GPT-5 is totally tunable. You can steer it with system prompts or cursor rules. You can change its verbosity levels or reasoning levels to match your tasks. And if you get stuck, ask it. GPT-5 is actually really good at modifying its own prompts by meta-prompting. So after using this for the past few weeks, it really feels like we've achieved state-of-the-art, zero-shot performance and reliability across the most complex coding tasks. For me, it's the first time I trust a model to do my most important work. This is beyond vibe coding. It's an incredibly powerful tool, and I'm really excited for people to try it.
Thanks, Brian. It's super exciting to see how far GPT-5 has come when it comes to coding personality and steerability. I'm really excited to show how great GPT-5 is at front-end coding, where design and aesthetics really matter. So I've got 2 demos for you today, one for work and one for fun. Let's start with the work example. So imagine you're the CFO of a startup. I have some data that I'd like to visualize about the company. and I'm going to ask the model to make me a dashboard. So you'll see here that I'm being specific about the audience. So the target audience is the CFO. I've said, create a finance dashboard for my startup. And I've asked it to be beautiful, tastefully designed with some interactivity, and to have a clear hierarchy for easy focus on what matters. I've also specified what frameworks it should use. And you can see that it's actually started. It's following my instructions and using create next app to make a Next.js project.
So totally from scratch.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, how long do you think this kind of task would take you to take?
Easily at least a couple of days. I'm not a front-end expert. Just to understand the latest frameworks and piece everything together would, easily take me a few days.
We'll see how long it takes with the model.
Yeah. And it's really cool to see that the model is thought for a bit, and it's explaining how it's going to structure the project. So it's talking about how it's going to scaffold a new Next.js app. It's going to use Tailwind CSS. It's running a couple of commands to install dependencies, which is cool. And now it's proceeding to implement the rest of the project. So while this runs, I'm going to talk a little bit about how we trained GPT-5 to be a great front-end coding model. We tried to follow the principle of giving it good aesthetics by default, but also making it steerable. So if I give the model a concise prompt, it should be able to infer my intent and make something that looks great by default. On the other hand, if I'm specific about a layout or frameworks that I want the model to use, it should follow my instructions precisely. And this makes it the best of both worlds for developers. We also trained GPT-5 to be much more agentic than previous models. So if you give it a task like this, it will run long chains of reasoning and tool calls and just go to work to build code that is both ambitious and coherent.
I like how you said ambitious because it means it goes above and beyond without going off track or off what you specified.
Yeah, exactly. So what we want is the model should adhere to my prompt, but also be ambitious and go above and beyond when it thinks it can. And so checking in here, looks like the model is making progress. It's creating a README file. And I think it's thinking about how to make the code modular. So it's created like a bar chart component. Looks like it's continuing here.
I love that it doesn't just write the code. It also really thinks about proper abstractions and documentation and really the whole life cycle of what it is to write software.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just writing the code like in SweBench, but it's also communicating about the code and explaining what it's doing. Let's check in to see what's going on. So while this runs, GPT-5 understands details much better than previous models. So when we trained the model, we taught it to understand details like typography, color, and spacing in a way that just eclipses any previous model we've shipped. I remember with old models, you would have to write really specific prompts to get it to do what you want, but GPT-5 just gives you great results by default.
During testing, we were looking at the A's and B's for different versions of the model to see if it was doing better at UI, and at some point we stopped being able to tell and actually had to pull in designers to teach us what was better.
Yeah, it was really fascinating to see the model's aesthetic preferences evolve during training. And we woke up one day and it was just making these great UIs.
How do the model's aesthetic preferences compare to your own?
Yeah, I think in general, I feel like the model has better aesthetics than me. Usually I defer to its judgment. And I find that really helpful when I'm trying to make an app. I'm not exactly sure how I want it to look, but the model's defaults are just great. Yeah, and checking in here, so you can see that the model has actually structured the code into these different components. So it's made a sample data TypeScript file, KPI card, component, revenue chart. And like I said, it's super modular. And it's thinking about how to not just write code, but write high quality code that can actually be merged.
Feels like it's close.
Yeah, I think it's pretty close. It's.
You did say ambitious.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So this is awesome. So you can see here that it's actually building the project and streaming errors back to itself. And this is, for me, this was just a profound moment to see that the model could write code, but also run builds, stream the errors back, and iterate on the code. So it's able to improve its own code in this sort of self-improvement loop, which is fascinating.
And it's definitely a good taste of what the future holds as well, right?
Yeah.
When you really think about where these models can go and how much they can accelerate developers and kind of all aspects of what we all collectively do.
Yeah, exactly. Nice.
It actually just fixed a bug that it found in that previous build. Okay, cool.
Nice. Yeah, looks like it's done. Let's check it out. So I'm gonna follow the instructions that I don't really know front end. So let me see how I should run it. So it's saying cd to the directory and then run npm run dev. So let me do that. And it looks like it's being served on port 3001. So let me just open that port.
Wow, it's alive.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah, so you can see here, let's check it out. So the model has made me a dashboard. It's telling me like my ARR, cash. Looks like this company is doing pretty well. You can see that revenue is growing. And the model's added like some interactivity here. So if I hover over a graph, it actually tells me the exact value for a particular day.
It would take me like 5 hours to do that in D3.
Yeah, imagine like manually doing this in D3. It's just like...
Now, just because it's so easy to take this for granted, could you remind the audience what the actual prompt was? Like how much creativity and sort of understanding your intent was required to accomplish this?
Yeah, it's crazy that this prompt is so concise and it's able to just give me something that looks beautiful in just 5 minutes.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's also implemented another graph here showing our customers. It's also implemented a date picker, so I can sort of filter by different dates and visualize data accordingly. Yeah, it's even sort of segmented it by customer segment, which is cool. So this is just one example that highlights the power of GPT-5.
There will no longer be excuse for ugly internal applications.
Exactly. Let's go to the fun demo.
Yeah.
So
I mean, this was pretty fun, but even more.
Even more, yeah. So I have a younger cousin, and I want to make a game for her. So I want to make a 3D game that incorporates a castle. So you can see my prompt. I'll just kick this off. Sorry.
It's always the non-AI part.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, OK. So you can see my prompt. Create a beautiful castle. I've included some details like we want people patrolling the walls, some movement, horses. And I want a mini game where I can pop balloons by clicking on them. And this should make a sound effect. So let me run this in Cursor. I'll just paste it in. And I'm going to show an example that I've already generated just to save some time. So here is the beautiful castle that the model made. So it's just wild how, from a concise prompt, the model has this great sense of aesthetics where it's made this like floating rock, made a 3D castle. And if you zoom in, you can see like tons of detail, like these guards that are walking around, cannons firing. Do you want to fire the cannons if you click this button?
Of course.
Who wouldn't want to?
There you go.
Yeah, there we go. So you can fire the cannons. You can even chat with the characters. So we'll say hi to Captain Rowan.
They have names.
They have names. Say hello to the merchant. Merchant's selling some stuff. What's your favorite song? A Ballad of Banners and Dawns. Nice. Give me some wisdom. Curiosity is volatile. Yeah, that makes sense.
Minigame.
Yeah. Do you guys want to try the minigame?
Absolutely.
Let's play the minigame.
So if you hit this button, you want to try, Greg?
All right.
So you can fire at these balloons.
Oh, wow. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm not good at it. Hold on. Maybe I can ask GPT-5 for some help with it.
Yeah, a little
Oh, you hit one.
Yeah.
Nice.
I got one. Oh, there we go. We got a sound
There's
effect.
a sound effect. These are historically accurate balloons.
Yes. Did I get a second one yet? Man, this game is harder than it looks. Hold on, we got a balloon coming. There we go. All right.
Nice.
I think I should quit while I'm ahead.
Cool. So working with GPT-5 has been really fun and profound for me because for me, this is the first model I've worked with that actually has a sense of creativity. And we're really excited to see how GPT-5 unlocks your creativity.
All right, thank you both. This is absolutely amazing. Now, we believe that GPT-5 is the best coding model in the world, but don't just hear it from us. To talk more about this model and how to make it really useful for developers, I'd like to welcome Michael Truell, who is the co-founder and CEO of Cursor.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Great to have you.
Yes.
So, what was your very first experience with GPT-5?
So when we got access to GPT-5, we just set about using it on our actual work. And so to start with, as a test, we asked it to tell us something non-obvious about our code base. And within a couple of minutes, it buried into the code base. It identified a particular system that we use for remote code execution. And it identified a non-obvious architecture decision we had made. And then it also understood why we made that architecture decision. And it was to harden our security. And those were architecture decisions and trade-offs that took humans weeks to think through. So it was kind of amazing to see its code base understanding abilities from the get-go.
That's really great. Not just the code writing, but actually the code reading and understanding.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, turns out there's so much more to software than just the emitting of the code.
Yes, yes. No, the understanding is an important prerequisite.
And what has most stood out to you about GPT-5?
It's incredibly smart. It's a very smart model. And even though it is smart, it does not compromise on its ease of use for real pair programming. That means it's incredibly fast. That also means that it's quite interactive. And so it's good about talking about what it's about to do, breaking problems down into sub-problems that a human can then see, and leaving a reasoning trace that you can then intervene on and react to. It's also great not just at you give it one initial query and then it goes and does that, but working with you over a long session. Where you're asking it to backtrack on something that it's gone down, or asking it to make additional changes to the code base.
Should we show it in action?
Let's do it. Yes. So I think we are going to go and we're going to try and solve a bug. And so this is the OpenAI Python SDK. There are a bunch of issues in the OpenAI Python SDK. There are also a lot of closed issues.
Okay, good.
And it seems like there's a problem with uploading PDFs through the SDK.
This has been open for 3 weeks, so
open for 3 weeks.
It's not a trivial problem.
Yeah. And so let's see if we can go tackle this issue. So we're going to take the issue, we're going to paste it into the editor, paste it into Cursor, and GPT-5 is going to set off and try and solve the problem. And this is actually an example of the robustness of the model in the API, where to solve this problem in Cursor, it's working with a set of custom models that it hasn't seen before, a set of custom tools that it hasn't seen before, to do things like pull down text from the web, to search throughout the code base. And it's incredibly robust and adept at using those tools. And they boost eval results.
Yeah, I love seeing just the full explanation of all the things that it's running and doing. And I guess, how does this seem to compare to how you would solve this problem?
Well, it's very fast. You can see it's made a high-level plan, searched throughout the code base. It started to read some files and continued searching. And now it's kind of thinking through what it'd like to do next. And now it's started to actually solve the issue and started to think through some code changes.
Now, any advice for people on how to get the most out of GPT-5 in Cursor?
I would suggest using it for your real work. GPT-5 is a step forward towards a real pair programmer. And so I would start using it as a helper on, as a daily driver model for you. And so if you haven't used AI to code much before, I would take some of your more scoped down problems and try handing them off to the bot and working with it synchronously.
Yeah, I think the fact that GPT-5 is so great for the real world, like big code bases, like doing your daily driver, not just this like demo of a cool one-off application. As cool as that is, right? The real value comes from really operating in a larger code base and of these long-lived applications.
Definitely. And its code base understanding is very impressive. Also, its ability to be steered is impressive. And so, if you specify a long, complicated task with lots of subtleties in the initial instructions, it's very good at picking up on those subtleties. It's also very good at, if it's gone down a wrong path and actually goes and executes the code or hears back from you that it was incorrect, it's very good at backtracking too.
Now, what can't GPT-5 do?
Well, we're really excited about computer using capabilities, about those getting better. It would be great if, for instance, the dashboard Adi just showed, if it could run the code, see the output, actually, kind of QA every little bit itself, and then react to it. And yeah, so looking forward to computer using capabilities. How would you like GPT-5 to be better?
Oh, well, I think that is a great one, right? It's just expanding the dimensions, right? I think it's in all directions, right? That there's so much of like doing DevOps and other work that is external to software code writing as we think of it today. But also you look at these demos, right? We run them for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, a couple hours, but I think extending that life cycle to really be able to go for days and weeks and eventually even months, I think that is ultimately where we expect things to go.
So we can see that it has buried into the code base and discovered that there's an issue with the MIME or the MIME typing being sent up for PDFs and the plumbing through the SDK. It has identified that and it started making some code changes. And this, it's created some new methods. It's gone and edited some existing code. And this looks roughly correct.
Looks pretty good.
And would love to merge the PR too.
I would love to do that as well.
Yeah.
Let's do that after the show.
Yes, that sounds great. Awesome.
All right, cool. Well, thank you so much. We're so excited to have GPT-5 in Cursor. Starting today.
Excited to partner with you guys. And so starting today, GPT-5 is default for new users in Cursor, and we're releasing it to all Cursor users, free to try for the next few days so people get a sense of the model. And it is the smartest coding model we've ever tried.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Michael.
Thanks.
Coding, but it's great for the enterprise. We think of it like it's great for the enterprise. We think of it like a subject matter expert that is in your pocket, that is an expert across every domain, legal, finance, whatever application you have in mind. To talk about how GPT-5 can be applied to the enterprise, I'd like to welcome Olivier to the stage. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Hi, everyone. I'm Olivier. I lead the platform at OpenAI. At this point, I think you got the message. We care a ton about developers and coding. But that's not all. Enabling businesses and governments is critical to OpenAI mission. Put shortly, we will enable the key industries to transform themselves, such as healthcare, education, energy, or finance. Since we launched ChatGPT and the API, 5 million businesses have been using our technology. I'm still mind blown. 5 million businesses. And those businesses are not just playing. They're not just experimenting. They're pushing in production new products in the real world. And I believe GPT-5 is going to be a step function with that regard. As Sam mentioned earlier, the possibility to have a subject matter expert in your pocket is going to enable every employee to do more. But let me give you a few examples. First, I want to talk about life sciences. Amgen is a company in the US that designs new drugs, new medicines, to fight some of the toughest human diseases. Amgen was one of the first testers of GPT-5, and they used it in the context of drug design. And what Amgen scientists found is that GPT-5 is particularly good at deep reasoning with complex data. Think analyzing scientific literature or clinical data. Next, I want to talk about finance. BBVA is a multinational bank which is headquartered in Madrid, in Spain. BBVA has been using GPT-5 for financial analysis. And the takeaway was pretty clear. GPT-5 beats every single other model out there in terms of accuracy and speed. What used to take 3 weeks for a financial analyst to do, GPT-5 can do it in a couple of hours. Next, I want to talk about healthcare. Oscar is an insurance company based in New York. And they've been using GPT-5, and what they found is that GPT-5 is the single best model for clinical reasoning. Think mapping complex medical policy to patient conditions. It's not all about businesses, it's also about governments. We are super excited by the announcement that we made yesterday that the 2 million US federal employees will be able to use GPT-5 in ChatGPT. And I cannot wait to see how that enables to deliver better, faster services to the American people. And frankly, that's all very cool, but I think that's the tip of the iceberg. If history is a teacher, and we've seen it with GPT-4, we are going to see many, many use cases emerge over the coming weeks and months that all of us could not even imagine. And so I cannot wait for us to invent that future together. Let's talk quickly about pricing and availability. GPT-5 is going to be available in the API starting today. 3 models, GPT-5, GPT-5 Mini, GPT-5 Nano. GPT-5 is going to be priced at $1.25 and $10 per million input token and output token. Mini and Nano are even faster and more affordable. Nano, don't sleep on it, it's 25 times more affordable than GPT-5. It's pretty cool. I cannot wait to see what you'll build. And next, our chief scientist, Jakob, is going to close us out.
Thanks, Olivier. At OpenAI, at the core, we are about understanding this miraculous technology called deep learning and what its consequences are. Our research aims to understand what deep learning is capable of and how to steer it to make it safe and useful for all of us. This is a work of passion, and it's a mission. And I want to recognize and just deeply thank the team at OpenAI. It is a great privilege. It is a great privilege for me to work alongside this incredible group of brilliant people driven by this shared goal. What adds up to a model like GPT-5 are years of investigations aimed not only at producing a great release, but at building understanding of this underlying technology itself. And so a lot of what you'll see in this model are really just early glimpses of new ideas that we believe will go much further. There is a lot we still have to understand, and we look towards a future where AI can uncover new knowledge about the world and meaningfully transform our lives for the better. We hope you'll enjoy what we've built, and we'll get back to sailing. Thank you.
Well, that was interesting. I think I have to actually get access in the API to make it work in Klein. So I was trying to poke on that while he was talking. All right. I do know for sure I have it working in Cursor. Kind of my least favorite one to test it in. But you guys start putting some prompts in that you guys want to try. We can see what kind of code. And I actually have some bugs I can fix in my other code base too. I just wanted to see how long it would take to make a Flappy Bird game, and if it matched the Bulbasaur one that we did. All right, so here we go. Huh. It's actually not bad. Yes, let's do Vampire Survivors. That is perfect. Let's do a Vampire Survivor one. Let's get rid of that. Kick that off in here. Now, I was doing the GPT regular one. I didn't put max mode or anything on. Create a road rash clone with pseudo 3D driving and physics. Let's do it. Thank you. I'll copy that one. Called road rash. And then while that's running, I actually want to see if I can get it working in the API for me. Because I'd like to be able to test it in like root code, Klein, all those things. And I'm just going to keep trying over here. Unless it just starts working all of a sudden. Wait, it might be working. Yes! Alright, they just turned it on for me. Cool. So this is Klein. I have Nano turned on now. Should we try Mini? Have a Mini one running? Let's see, did someone give me another prompt in here? Yeah, give me something like really It's my usual snake game challenge, and it's the best I've seen. Simple, full interactive 2D particle-based water simulation in C++. We could see if it could do that. Love to see what kind of C++ code it makes. Monopoly is a good one. Tetris Clone with a twist is a good one. I bet your cursor is going to still be running a while. I want to see what it's built so far. Very little. I still can't believe GPT-5 is coming to augment. I've argued with so many of those companies about the ability to have different models. Dang. Coin drop simulator. That's a good one. Let me copy that one over in my notepad. You know what I can do too? Okay, so I've got this running. I've got this running. Let's go and open my code base here. And let's close all here. You don't save that. All right. Let's set up. Do I have Klein? I don't have Klein. And I bet your group code is not updated. Dang it. I'm in the WSL one. Let me just see if it's in here. Nope. Alright, let's just install Klein, I guess. Actually, what I'll do is this instead. Road Rash is still grinding away over here. Oh, did it crash? I think it crashed on us. Weird, okay. I don't know why Klein quit working. I'll have to restart something over there. GPT-5 is available in LM Arena. Pool Classic. Yeah, let's do a pool game. That's a great idea. And we can do that. We'll do that since Klein quit working over here. We'll do it here. All right, I have a prompt for that one. And we need to switch this over to... Why didn't they put these in alphabetical order? It's crazy. Oh, I gotta update here too. Boo! I have too many IDEs open. All right, here's the particle one. What? So I just want to look at the C++ that I actually created here. It does comment every line here, rather than like you knowing that like the variable name kind of tells us what it is. Like we don't need to know that this is the gas constant. It's using the standard vector. I mean, not bad. I have to see if that actually runs, but all right, are we done here? Opening the game, verifying no lints on the new README. Okay, so this is apparently the Road Rash game. I have no idea how this is actually going to work with the code I'm seeing. All right, let's see if there's an error in the console here. Looks like it. I'm going to have to start it as a server. All right, 1 second. localhost 8080. Road rash. Oh. Oh, that's killing me. What are we doing here? Reset. Oh, I crashed. What is this big red thing in front of me here? I see like a... You see the car coming? Am I... You can kind of see the world. That is interesting. I don't know what that is. We could try to see how it does on iterating on it. Okay. Alright, so... Kind of works. But... That's what I'm thinking too. I'm thinking the camera's inside the car. But then I saw like the black underneath it. Like it, I don't know. It's hard for me to tell. Yeah, I don't know. All right, I want to do another one of these. Let's take a look. Try this. See if you can create a cutting-edge DevOps platform with example 2 microservice and using 2 environment definitions. That's actually a pretty good one to try. Something along those lines. Maybe I can actually use Roo prompt for... Come on, Roo Code. I want you to update here. So... I wanted to actually give it a little bit more context there, to be honest. And I'm going to go grab the... I'll grab the pool one. This is the mini model. So I don't know. We'll do one as a mini model, and then we'll do one as a big model. We'll see what happens. And I actually want to pay attention to this cost too, if that's even accurate. See, doesn't this feel more like Horizon Beta right here? Like, you see how fast this is coming in? This is what I'm used to with Horizon Beta compared to what they were showing. It's got to be the mini model. I did test some of the new Opus model. I couldn't tell much of a difference, honestly. Like, that's really good. Yeah, that is unbelievable to me that Augment's going back on the model selector. I knew it. It's happening sooner than I anticipated. Why are you... Did not want that code. Let's do 5 mini. And we'll run it from there. Oh, even with max mode, it limits the context? That's kind of unfortunate. All right, so this is going to be the mini version. Oh, that actually looks pretty sharp. Can I actually shoot it? No. Wait, there's something over here on the right. Turn. All right, let's try one with the big boy model now. That doesn't seem very promising. So used to hitting root code. Okay, let's go. All right, we're back on the big one. I hope that's not the big one. But it definitely was not. All right. So we want to put that in a folder called billiards _ big boy. Yeah, and that's what Horizon... Oh, why are you failing? I put a key in there. Must have got reset. Let me go grab it again. move it over here so I paste it in. All right. All right, so now let's go back to cursor and see if it fixed it. Restart the server. Road rash. Now I'm still in the car. Oh yeah, the trees are definitely going by. Woof. Actually, I think what I want to do... Lorenz, I really appreciate that. Thank you, buddy. To Rob, I think so as well. Anyway, I'm using it in Playground and Cursor. So far, it's okay. It's no Opus 4 so far. This is, I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but the thinking for how long that is always is tough for me, like as a regular tool caller. Like I really like the way it works with Claude Ring. Be like, hey, I want you to think hard about this. Oh, this is cool. Oh wait, maybe it's gonna do something different. Thought for 24 seconds. The model makes no changes to the file. Thought for 5 seconds. Now it's reading the file. Kilo's updating. Cool. I could also load them in too. All right, this is the big boy. Let me close the augment window. This is the big boy GPT-5 model. Looks like it's wrapping up the pool game here in a minute. Definitely slower than the mini one. Definitely slower. Did it tell me the thinking time here? I guess it doesn't. But that's been running a while now. And I keep watching for an update here. All right, Klein. So we have three places we can test currently. The pool's got to be about done. I want to look at the code a little bit. Hold left mouse to clear. All right, here we go. Billard's big boy. That's pretty sweet, actually. Those are really nice stripe-looking balls, too. I suck at aiming. Let me just slam it in here. Full power. That feels really good. Shoot. I want to see if it actually goes in the hole. It does. Did it actually count it? Counted me a stripe. That's awesome. Dude, that's really cool, actually. This is great. This is one of the better ones that I've seen. And, I mean, the placement of the ball and everything, the way it gives you that green one, I've never had one actually be that nice before. Usually they just places it on the, like on the board for me when that happened. Doesn't give you the stick, but I didn't really tell it to. Yeah, that is awesome. All right, now there's another test that I do a lot that now I'm very interested in. So we're gonna go grab that prompt. This one's gonna take a little bit. That one's going to be too hard. I'm not going to do that one. Let's do this one. Okay. And I'm going to change the prompt a little bit. In a folder called traffic, create the best. me make it big boy so I know who did it. Create the best version of this possible. All right, let's go see where cursor's at. Did it actually fix anything? Added camera follow distance and move the camera back. All right, let's reset the server. Shouldn't matter, but we're gonna do it anyway. Localhost 8080 road rash. That did not do anything. I still have the good old. Now here's gonna be a funny test. All right, we're gonna go into Claude. Hey, let me start Claude first. Oh yeah, cursor has hit or miss on this stuff, honestly. I bet you if we should actually try the same prompt outside of that. That's a great idea once the other one finishes. Actually, I could probably do it here. Let me make sure I'm in a folder. I'm in the same folder as the other one, so I'd have to put it in new. I need to close this one. I'm tired of putting the same API key in there. See. Yes, and don't ask me again. Road rash for big boy. Let's go Klein, create the following. Ari, is that you? Oh, I gotta put my key in there again. Okay. Now, I'm very curious if it's going to work from Claude making it work. I found myself doing this a lot with Horizon Beta, where I would use Claude to fix things. No, Claude didn't fix it either. So, it's definitely something throwing it off. Get all red on full respawn. I wonder if that's like my health or something. You know, if I crashed, it turned all red. Huh. Alright, let's see what you guys are saying. So I don't think road rash is going to be able to get to work, but we'll see what happens with the other one that we're running. In cursor, actually, I want to check. That one's going slow. Alright, so in cursor, let's do another one. I have another cool one we can fire off. I like stuff like this. All right, so we're gonna make a folder called Physics Playground. We're gonna do like a. I always have to say create the following. Windsor, if GPT-5 is free, that's awesome. I need to update that too then. That's sweet. Did anyone get it in the chat yet? The web UI? Mine's still not there. Just watching this a little bit. So we're at 11 cents here. That is actually pretty cheap. T3, beautiful. Oh, are we done with the traffic, big boy? I never understand why. Like, who writes code like this? Every model does this. Most models do this. This is what I did when I was learning to code in like 11th grade, where I would comment, okay, car max speed. We don't really need to know anything more than that because we've named it well. Anyway. Oh, what's it doing? Oh, it's adding a drawing function. I don't think anything's wrong with comments. I think you need comments to tell you why a code does something, not what a code is, not what code is. So like, I don't think like for car acceleration, we should all know it. This should be named good enough that we don't need to comment that. But if you're doing something bizarre or different, definitely comment away. Yeah, I'm actually, when I worked in the last company, I was one of the pro comment people actually. And people would be like, no, you should never need comments. I'd say, no, not always. Because sometimes you have to write code that it's hard to be very clear in. I think you really do need it. All right, let's see what this does. Anyway, story for another time. Oh, come on. Please have good look. I don't understand the light turning here. So like this guy here, oh, I guess the lights here mean it's red on this side. I was thinking these were red, but that makes sense. Let's spawn a ton of cars. I don't know what this is gonna do. We're gonna do it. Holy. Some accidents in there. Yeah, Unreal source code, yeah, 100%. One of my favorite things was, like, when I was working with Unreal 3, it was a thing built into the engine. I'm trying to remember what it was, but it was called, like, not is enabled. And I remember looking at that going, not is enabled. So it's is enabled, but not. I just was like, why would you do that to me? It's unbelievable how hard that was for my brain to comprehend what they were trying to do there. Okay, here we go. This is going to be a fun one, too. In a folder called Arena. It's our big boy. Create a follow-on. And I think we should try to fix a bug or something in my app, too, to see how it works in an actual code base here in a second. Man, I can't believe this thing's still going. Whoa. It's generating more than I anticipated. Yep. I'm thinking I might do that, actually. I really need root code to update, though. I guess I can open it into a non-WSL window. Let me see, did they actually add it into my app too and see how it works? Yes, I can hide the chat. 1 second. Let me just turn that off for now. There we go. All right, so I got another one. Let's queue up another prompt while we're waiting. That one might be too hard, but we can try it. Maybe we'll give it like a really tough one. So this should be basically an IDE is what we're trying to build there. I haven't heard about which model was the Horizon beta one. I'm just guessing based on what I'm seeing with stuff. It's got to be the mini model. Yep, I've got it all on those two. That's gonna be too hard. That's gonna be too hard. We can try it though. Let's see what it does. This is always a fun one to test. I don't know how I feel about doing this in Cursor. That's awesome, Rod. I'm pleasantly surprised. I honestly thought it was going to come out more expensive. All right, let me update Windsurf. I'm assuming there's going to be an update. Yeah, it's up downloading. I'll have that over. So we're up to 84 cents on this one. It's not bad. Why did Crush folder get created here? Huh. I wonder if they're going to keep working on Codex, the Codex CLI. See if it's downloaded. Restart. All right, we're going to try Windsurf. I have not tried it with Codex CLI yet. Have you tried it with Codex CLI, Sean? We could kick that off here. I'm going to have to update it again. This is very, very pokey right now. From all, it's probably too early to tell, but I will say from a initial impressions, typically with OpenAI models, I have one of two things that happen. They're either crazy lazy or they have a lot of tool call failures in whatever tool I'm using. And in this one, I'm not seeing that. So very, very, very promising. I do have a Windsurf subscription. GPT-5. Medium reasoning. I like that they did it this way. That's cool. All right, let me grab a good prompt for this one then. I want something more complicated. Yeah, I'm gonna try medium. Wait, Codex has got upgraded? Let's go load that up. I actually had it right here. Actually, I think I had it in the other terminal. I had it here. Let's install it again. I think I have a code folder here, right? Yeah. Code. I forgot that they gave us usage through ChatGPT now. I honestly forgot that. I guess I'll sign in. Give me the link. It's not going to work through WSL. Oh, the windsurf crash? What happened over here? Why'd you stop? All right, let's take a look if it finished over here. No, it is still chugging along. The slowness of this would drive me bananas, honestly. So I think it would be like I think I need to like learn what the low, medium, and high reasonings can do. Because if the low reasoning one can work like Sonnet, where I tell it to go do something and it can do it, and then I can use the high reasoning ones for like the slower thinking stuff, would be awesome. So I have to set OpenAI underscore API key. All right, go grab my API key again. And codex. Write your own API key. Yeah, let me know what you guys are, if you guys are playing with it, what you think of it so far. Okay, we're gonna allow. Okay, so I am authenticated with Codex now. I want it to do whatever it wants here. Okay, well, let's start by just doing something simple. Wait, how do I pick models? Status. GPT-5. So we are in medium effort, GPT-5. Reasoning summaries are auto. All right. Create me a e-commerce store that sells AI-based merch and make it super techy. Let's see how it works. Man, this is actually kind of fascinating. I'm gonna have to spend like a day working with Codex CLI now. Think how many tokens we're burning right now. I've got like 3 things running. $1.45 up here now. I don't know why it's thinking so much about changing that one little UI. Here we're building the, this one I knew was going to be a big project for it. It's a code editor. It's #1 in LM Arena. Let's take a look at that. Dang, what? That shot past. Dude, this might be something. That might actually be something. That's crazy. Huh. I do actually have the Pro plan. We can go play with that here in a second. Let me see if I can. I'll pull that over. She said I have. Let me do a hard refresh or something. Oh, there it is. I got it now. I just needed to refresh. Okay, so we have the flagship model, and then we have GPT-5 Pro here. GPT-5 Pro, research-grade intelligence. I wonder what we'd want it to do. Let me see if we can give it a really tough... I'm gonna need to come up with some harder prompts here. Create a application that trains a neural network that recognizes handwriting. It should start with asking the user to put in different characters. The network is trained. Eventually should have enough data so the user can use it to see the results. I'm curious about that. Yeah, let's try it. ChatGPT 5, regular one. Can. Man, isn't it weird that like O3's gone now? I don't know why it feels so weird. Because O3 is just the one I go to a lot for things. Okay, so it is going to open a canvas. They lowered the price on O3 a lot, actually. It's down to, was it like 2/3 the price of Claude? Yeah, tell it to recreate FFmpeg. That'd be amazing. I don't know how I feel about this, honestly. This is weird. Yeah, Quinn is fantastic. Did they move all their infrastructure to Google? Yeah, if it's confirmed that Horizon Beta with GPT-5 Mini, I am very happy. Because I originally said GPT-5o Mini, because I thought it was going to be like the old way they did it, where they had the big model like GPT-4, and then they went 4o with the cheaper one, and then they did a mini one off of 4o, but they changed the paradigm on me there. All right, we're going to see if this actually worked. This is back to my app here. I don't think it can actually do this problem that I keep giving it here. No. It's close. This is supposed to be down here, and this is supposed to be over here to the right, bottom right. But it did fix this, fortunately. It's just not placing it in the right position. It did place this correctly. It did narrow it up for me. That's all pretty nice. So I'll have to work on that some more. Let's go do a refactor while we're waiting on the Flappy Bird stuff to finish. All right, we're going to take a look at chat.controller. Actually, let's do chat service. Recommend 3 things we can do to improve maintainability of this code. See what that does. Can we play the Flappy Bird game? Yeah, run code. Start. Fix bug. That's kind of sweet, actually. I should try that, matter of fact. Apparently it's a MetaMask error. I have to, it's picked up a... Here, let me see if I can just refresh this. Pretty neat little particle effects. I don't know why it's... That is not the error, guys. Conversation not found. This looks like an OpenAI like error here. You see that how it's getting a 404 from the conversation? That doesn't appear to be. Yeah, it's hitting chat. It's hitting ChatGPT back in conversations. I don't have the headers in there, but we're getting a 404 on one of their stuff. Yeah, and I don't know what to think about this. All the models are gone. And you know, when they were talking to, they made it like this little tiny thing. They're like, hey, by the way, this is replacing all other models. And then they just kept going. Like, no, that is kind of a big deal, especially because there's a few places in my application where I'm actually using O3. So hopefully they're still on the API. I need to monitor that now. All right, let's see if it came up with some good ideas for some refactor in here. Can I zoom this in at all? Here's a little bit better. Extract a small HTTP client and shared request builder to remove duplication. This is actually kind of a complex piece of the code because it handles a lot of the SSE connections and the streaming of content back and forth. I do like that idea, but I don't know how safe that would be. Where's option 2? So 1, extract a small. 2, consolidate tool definitions and inclusion flags into a typed registry. Plus builder. Move each tool definition as a single tool module. Export a union type of tool name and build a bullet. This avoids repeating. Let's try that one. Actually, I like that idea. And number 3. Yeah, I don't care that much about that one. You still see if you did like a shift because I was in the same place, and then I did like a hard refresh on the page. I held shift and refreshed it, and then it transformed to 5 for me. Did it do the same thing to you? I guess it loses it if I refresh the page. That was a mistake. Or no, it says it's still running. It's just I lost the status of it because I'm on Pro here now. That's a bummer. Hopefully you'll get it soon. Yeah, it's weird that so they definitely have a bug here. And then that's gonna be very slow. All right, tell me 3 ways I can walk a fish. Okay. Do you see how fast it was? So there is a router in here. I loved O3. I really loved O3. So tell me a joke. They're doing, yeah, they are routing to smaller models somehow. So write me a Python script that is a full text-based adventure game. Let's see how fast that is. Yeah, so it picked up immediately that it needs to think longer there. So are they routing to different models, or do you think they're just changing the reasoning level there? Prove or disprove P equals NP. It's thinking longer there. It does pass the walk a fish test. Tell a joke in the style of Bo Burnham. I don't even know who that is. Let me try it. See what it does. I'll do it in the same chat. Yeah, super fast. I tried Python because they said it was clean. Indentations the vibe, white space is the queen. But one wrong tab and surprise, your whole script dies. I'm not gonna lie, this is actually pretty good. Like my social life after learning regex lies. They say it's easy to read. Oh, that's just lore. Except when you see a knit and wonder what's it for. It's got no semicolons, which is cool. Yeah, neat. But now I have to explain to my C friends why my code looks incomplete. And sure, I could fix that bug, maybe even today, but I'd rather just import anti-gravity and float away. Thanks, that one was written in O of N time. I actually got a kick out of that. That is amazing. That was a good prompt. I appreciate that one a lot. I appreciate that one a lot. I'm going to have to use the Bo Burnham and look him up. Dude, that is actually amazing. That's awesome. Okay, so the details came back. This one looks like it's about done. Man, that took a while. This thing is doing some serious thinking here. I wonder if there even is going to be an O4 like full model. So I can go to GPT-5 Thinking, Pro, or regular GPT-5. If I go to Thinking and I say, tell me a joke, what does it do? It does still think. So regular GPT-5 must have like some sort of router in it. Yeah, see how much slower that was at even coming in, the text coming in? If I go to this here, let's go ahead and just hit a new chat here. Let me say, tell me a joke. Super fast. Okay, what AI model are you? Are you routing to other models based on my question? That said, some setups do route. It doesn't have any idea. That was crazy. I don't know what to think about this. It's still running. All right, is it still refactoring over here? Yep. Up to 33 cents. So back in the day, you know, things would be compiling. It could take an hour or two. Go like play a game of Mario Kart. We used to play Mario Kart on the DS. And our boss would walk in and we're all playing Mario Kart. We're like, oh, don't worry, the build's compiling. Did I have anything running here? Yes, this is the Calendly one. It looks like it's done. So let me see if I can run it. Calendly is probably gonna have to reset the server here. Calendly, create your page, joe.com. This actually looks pretty good. 15-minute meeting, 30-minute meeting. Automatic, all my ranges are there. I'm gonna save all that availability. Now, how do I copy this? So if I copy this link, I try to book with Joe. Select a 15-minute meeting. Bo at bo.com. Confirm. And I go back here. My bookings are there. That's actually pretty neat. It's pretty good. I don't know, does anyone have the Plus plan to check if Pro is on there for people? I'm on the Pro plan currently. That's what I'm thinking too, because it's really neat the way it picks it up. In particular, what Daniel's saying is maybe they have a small model that can evaluate prompts quickly for complexity. And the reason I kind of agree with that is just the way that when I ask a more complex question, it turns on thinking or not. So if I say, tell me a story about a bear, it should be instantaneous. pretty quick tokens per second there. But then if I do another chat and I say, write me in Python a Sudoku solver. I spelled that wrong, but that's okay. And it immediately goes to thinking longer. So it could even have like a little model in front to determine the amount of reasoning that it does there. So it's not there for you, Daniel? They said 5 will be one model that routes. Yeah, that's what I thought too. Is that this was going to be like the... If you look at my Excali draw, I was kind of wondering about that. We shipped major improvements to the codec CLI. Let's see how that test is going over here. Look at this. So we asked it to create an e-commerce store that sells merch. Local scripts, added a bunch of stuff. I built a techie neon-styled AI merch store with a client-side cart and demo. Want me to wire this into a real payment provider or deploy it for you? Can you run it for me so I can test it in my browser? See if it can do that. Yeah, I don't know what to think too about the model routing. But as long as they keep the APIs open, I don't know how long that'll be though. So it's on port 8000, or it will be. Honestly, this Calendly clone turned out really good. Really, really good. Very functional out the gate. Very simple UI. I've definitely seen some that go more complex with the UI in that same prompt, but it did do a good job with it. Let's see how the LM Arena leaderboard, has that changed at all? 1479 to 3,333. Maybe you could think about it like MOE. I'm not sure. Haven't decided yet on that. Oh man, what kind of code did we get here? So these are my LLM, like some of my LLM native tool calls. So what it did is it pulled this out into its own type file, which actually I like that a lot. And then we export those out. And then it removes a lot of code from here, which is very nice. I'm not sure if that matters because it's only really used in this file. I need to think about if it's valuable to do that. It might be just to keep the size of this file down. But how much did that cost me? 50 cents. Not bad. To rant, I will say I'm pleasantly surprised. I need to run evals, and I need to actually use it for some actual code to see how it kind of feels using it. I really want root code to update so I can get it in there, and I need to get it into open code as well to try it. So I will say, if I go back to my earlier predictions that I had, let me see if I can find them. I've got so much stuff open here. And if you didn't see this rant, this was one of the coolest little demos that we did, in my opinion. Did I actually just draw? Let me just make a circle. So you could like draw all kinds of stuff, and then there's like springs and stuff you can connect to things. I thought this was pretty dang good for a one-shot thing. So close that out. I think my Scala draw was here. So I came in thinking it was going to be very expensive. And I thought the Mini was going to be about the one that we'd want to use for coding. And I thought Nano was going to be like flash prices. And instead, the prices ended up like this. So they do have the batch flex standard. I'm assuming when we're coding, we're going to be using standard. I don't think we're going to need priority. But I was way off. Look at Nano here. 5 cents on the input. 5/10 of a cent. 40 cents on the output. GPT Mini, 25 cents input. This is insane to me. That if this is Horizon Beta for this price, which, does anyone have confirmation on that? And then GPT-5, $1.25. Now, Claude is normally 3 here, and the output's a little more expensive. Claude is normally 15 here, but still cheaper. But honestly, most of my price is on the input. So this price being lower is very important to me, and having this price lower is very important to me. Yeah, I feel like a lot of these models are going to be geared for vibe coders, to your point there. But I will say, it did what I asked it to here in this code base. I'll just go back over this a little bit again. So I gave it a file. Let me see. This file's not tiny. I guess it was about 400 lines. And I asked it basically what I could do to make it more maintainable. And it gave me what I thought was a really good thing here to extract it into a small HTTP client. But I ended up choosing to go with number 2. And it ended up refactoring it all the way to completion, no tool call failures, to hear me saying, go ahead and try number 2. This is an interesting search here. So it was doing a search. This is, I guess, how Klein just does their search up through the code base. And edit the file. The most expensive prompt here. So we had 13 cents, 1, 11, 14, 2, 50 cent total. All right, we do have one other test that's running. I gotta see if it's done now. All right, it is. This is the WebOS test. I hope it opens. Whoa. Is there any errors? There's one error. I don't know if that's going to break everything. It did break everything. Let's see if I can get it to fix it. Boo, that's unfortunate. Yeah, and then we have another thing going over here too with, I built a e-commerce store with Codex CLI using it. So I'm going to go ahead and tell it to run this command. Hopefully I don't have anything else running on port 8000 right now. We're going to just try it. Shouldn't take that long for it to run. Whoa, this is my e-commerce store that Codex CLI built for me using GPT-5. One of the things I always like to check is cart. Dang, okay. Can I close the cart? I can, but it's like underneath this bar a little bit. Light mode, dark mode. Can I add items to cart? That's actually pretty slick. I'm not gonna lie, like I did nothing for this. There was no errors. I'll show you the prompt I put in there. You find it again. Create me an e-commerce store that sells AI-based merch and make it super techy. That's all I told it. Yeah, I don't know if I could use this on a day-to-day basis, but it's definitely gotten better. When I first used it, and it could be because of GPT-5, but when I first used it, I felt like it was unusable. Do I have a checkout page? Oh, I do. Let me see if this works. Let's see how far it goes. Okay, it stops there. That's cool. I don't know if you guys could tell, but there's like little particles in the background moving around. Does the search work? If I type in synthetic, it does. Categorization, apparel. Yeah, that's sweet. This has to have been, a version of this has to have been what Horizon Beta was. I don't know which one. This is awesome. This is awesome, but it doesn't look as cool as that one, to be honest. But it works great. Does this actually open? It does. It opens up the... This is... Oh, that's awesome, Rand. I appreciate that. Oh, they did confirm on X that Horizon Alpha and Beta were GPT-5 early checkpoints. I wonder if it was Mini and Nano were tested it. So that was the big model? Weird. That's my thought too, Sean, is that it has to be the Mini one because it was so fast. It was so fast. I don't think this is probably going to change anytime. So 1479, same number of votes. All right, let's go back and see if my WebOS thing got fixed. So it doesn't look like it because I don't have anything. Look at the code. Yeah, it definitely did not fix it, unfortunately.
Hey, Ari, did you give Prim food and water?
So the, let me go over here. Sorry, they're coming in. Losing track of what window I'm at now, getting distracted. So we go here. Oh, it's actually still running. I'm just jumping the gun here. I thought it was done. That's my bad. So you think it was the Pokemon? Wait, did someone confirm it was the Pokemon? All right, we gotta go over here. Let's just see what's on my main feed. Let's see if I can Google Horizon Beta. So it looks like GPT-5 is Horizon Alpha and Beta. I don't know if I believe that. I guess Horizon Beta was indeed GPT-5. No one's confirming it, though, that I'm seeing. I actually like the way Cursor's got it with low and high, and then I really like the way Windsurf has it with medium, low, and high. Let's see if this project fits. This is one where we just had it like an interactive solar system here. Make sure I don't have to... I'm going to have to run it in as a server. One sec. So 8081. Boo. Normal stuff though. No big deal. Potato feels very similar to GPT-5 Mini or Nano. Potato, do you mean like one of the Pokemon ones? Is that a typo? Oh, we should do a big test. Okay. I know I'm getting near the end of probably being able to do a bunch of tests here. But anyway, let's do... That's still running. I gotta find one that isn't running currently. Calendly we did on Cursor. We'll go ahead and stop that one. Create a new chat. Okay. In a tower underscore defense folder, I want a killer 3D tower defense game where you have to stop bugs from getting into the computer. You have GPT-5 at night. What's that? I actually didn't even check that on mine. Let me see if that happened on mine. GPT. Yep, I only have 5 and Thinking and Pro in mine. I have mine on the iOS app too. Yeah, the API costs are killer. I can't even tell you how wrong I was about that. I just I got to go do some thinking about that because it might actually make sense to use some of these models actually as my coding model, just based on the price of it. So get rid of this tab. Here, this just blows my mind, especially if Mini ends up being reasonably good. I'm going to toss it in my app. Yeah, I'm not totally convinced it's better than Sonnet yet either. I will say it has come a long way from what we've seen in the past. We're seeing actual tool calls that are happening without failure. Okay, they did confirm it, but did they say, Frank, if it was the mini one or the big version? Please do not be the big version. I just haven't tested it enough to know if it's better than Sonnet or not. Sonnet, I've got thousands of hours on. I don't know, I'm making up a number, but a ton of hours on it. It's hard for me to judge something in just a couple hours. Same, I thought it was going to go higher. Cool, thanks, Frank. I appreciate that. So Frank says that in the Open Router Discord, it was confirmed that alpha and beta were checkpoints in the GPT-5 family, but they did not confirm if it was the mini models or the big models. So that I want to see if this actually runs real quick. Was it 8081? Yeah. I've definitely seen better ones than this. Can I zoom in? I mean, there's no planets. Oh, it's trying to load images that don't exist. That's why. That's the problem. Okay. Yeah, beta was definitely better than alpha. I'd almost given up on alpha instantly, to be honest. Oh, Zach, I don't know yet. I think it's doing a killer job, honestly. I think GPT-5 is doing great. But I'm just I need to use it for a while to actually see kind of how it plays out long term. I mean, I just used it on a few tasks in my code base here, and it navigated it fine. The cost was relatively cheap. Very happy with the quality that it put out there. But I did actually do one test where I tried to get it to fix this UI, so it actually made it worse. So I told it, I basically wanted it to move this model picker to the bottom right, this this submit button here, it was already there, but it moved it here. And then this plan my month piece, which is like a drop down for like mode selection, I wanted it to be in the bottom left and have those styled the same. But it just couldn't figure that out. So I ended up giving up on that one. And I kept giving it images. And here, I can probably find the original image. This is it right here, I think. This is the original image that I gave it that I wanted. And it did okay. Like, it put these things in the right place up here. It didn't radius this as much. All fine stuff that you could tweak, though. But it really struggled with the positioning of this stuff here. Yeah, I'm amazed. I think the future is just being able to understand how to work with this AI technology, to be honest with you. I think that is the future. Yeah, I honestly, the biggest thing, which we knew was coming, but they made it like not a big deal, honestly, was the fact that all the models are gone except for GPT-5 now. Oh yeah, check this out. I forgot I did this one because it was so long ago. Look how long it reasoned for, 11 minutes and 8 seconds. So this one was done with the Pro, the research grade intelligence. I told it to create an application to train a neural network that recognizes handwriting. It should start with asking the user to put a different character in it and train the network, whatever. Download the HTML. What? What does that mean? Did I lose it? I can't actually get the code, apparently. That is an amazing amount of reasoning, but it's unfortunate I can't actually get the code. I didn't know there was a time limit, or that's just some kind of other bug. You know how error messages are. Lame. What if I click on it? No, it just does the same thing. I'm kind of curious what error message it gives me. Let me clear that. What? It is a download, but it's something being expired there. Yeah, let's actually, that's not a bad idea. So it looks like, oh, is it going to take 12 minutes to figure it out though, because I'm in Pro? Anyway, it looks like the download link isn't working. I get a, let me see what it exactly says. Code interpreter, session expired. The API seems to be returning this when I download it. Let me fix a couple of my typos here. Okay. I can't believe that reason for 11 minutes. So out of curiosity though, with that same message, what if we try it in the thinking version here? Just to see how much faster it goes. Because we know we put that in Pro, it thought for 11 minutes and 8 seconds. It definitely went to the think longer. It's immediate, it's going to create the app pretty quickly here. Oh, it literally is going to take probably 10 minutes for this one. Yeah, they're doing some sort of routing. And I bet you they have like those mini models for things like if I say, you know, give me a story about a cat. It's like instantaneous. So fast there. Okay, so this is GPT-5. See how slow this is comparatively to Mini? Which is why I'm so skeptical that Mini was the big model, or the not Mini, Horizon Beta was not the Mini model. I just feel like it would have been, just made more sense. All right, let's take a look at, what are we doing here? Okay, that's still working. And then, okay, apparently I hit 40 request limit here. And I'm at $6.33 on this one. I may have over complicated this one a little bit. So I'm gonna proceed, and we're just gonna see how it plays out. I think we might be in a loop though, because like look what it's doing. Edit this file, edit this file. Are they basically the same? They're slightly different. Searching for map. I wonder if we're just going to keep racking up here, doing the same thing over again. This might be our first failure here. We're at 124K contacts, 4.5 million up, 71 down, decent amount of cash. And it feels like we've been in this same, edit this same file forever. How big is this file? What did it make? 1,600 lines. Maybe it is working. One thing I missed from Sonnet Opus is GPT-5 doesn't write unit feature tests to test its code. I wonder if we can prompt around that, or if it's just not going to do that. Interestingly, I asked it to rate its knowledge on frameworks like Astro, 3JS, and only gave itself an 8 out of 10 for Astro, 7 out of 10 for 3JS features. Yeah, I'm amazed. For production, I code review everything that goes into production. When I'm one-shotting things that I don't care about, a lot of times I don't pay attention to it. But I do code review everything that matters. Some things at times it just doesn't matter, though. Yeah, I bet you could get it to do it by prompting around it. All right, so let's see if our tower defense game looks like it's open. I don't know. I might as well just run this via the server. It's 8080. This is supposedly in cursor GPT-5 tower defense game. So, it's not showing up, but there it is. Start. Click to place green pads. Let me look and see if there's errors. We get this error commonly. This is the second time, maybe third time that we've got this very particular error. Anytime it does something like that. So hopefully it can fix it. I don't know why Rue doesn't update yet. I thought they were going to be on the ball there. It's hard for me to say what's better, but I prefer Rue code more. Just because I have so much of my own configuration in here that I use. You can just see like all the stuff that I configure. Rules, all that kind of crap. I keep waiting for him to update. All right, let's give it a harder one here. I'm actually kind of worried about this IDE one. All right, let's see if this... I don't know if this is actually going to work, ever. All right, we got another error. We got a different error now. It is a little disappointing. Like, these things are not much of anything, but there are a lot of models I'll use that actually can one-shot those just fine without errors. So, yeah, I should actually update that. That's a good call, Ramp Market. I need to go through and just spend a weekend, like, updating everything. So Gary, we've mainly been testing the big model. We did a little bit with the little model. The little model, the mini model, is very fast. I will say that, but we're really trying to push the big model. I'll do evals across all three, nano, mini, all of them. This one, I think I'm probably gonna have to stop. You can kind of see the prompt that I did here. I wanted it to basically make a kind of like programming IDE. And I think I may have like stumped it. Unfortunately, it might be too complicated. And surprisingly, it's like putting all the code in one file, which I don't know why it would want to do that there. It's kind of a bad sign. Thank you, Gary. I appreciate that. Yeah, see if it's in GitHub Copilot now. We can probably check in this one. Pretty sure. Oh, did Rue code update? No, AMP did. I do not have it in my selector. And I do not have it in my OpenAI if I bring my own key option yet in Copilot. But this isn't the Insider edition. It might only be on the Insider. Aaron, that's probably the right one. I haven't updated it for a couple months. I need to go back through and do that. Oh, that's a great idea, Frank. We should just totally load in OpenRouter in here. I think I'm going to kill Klein. We've already racked up enough there for failure. OpenRouter, miscellaneous. Goodbye, Horizon Beta. All right, I need to pay attention to this now. We don't need temperature. That don't matter. 3 errors are fine. So I can't actually specify reasoning level with it. Do they have like different versions? 5. So they have the chat, mini, nano, and 5. Okay. All right. I want you to, I'm gonna try to let's make it do something crazy. So I'm telling it to like come up with build a game of Tetris that has never been done before, like try to be creative with it, come up with something super unique, but keep the Tetris mechanics. Let's see what it does. And look at this, 400K, which is great. Klein was only showed 256. 3.6 on it. Naveen, I actually kind of agree with you on that. I think we've gotten better at tool calling and handling tool calling. I think models have been kind of incrementally getting better. I don't know if it's like massive improvements yet. The one thing I will just keep going back to is the price of this is just so freaking good that we can't really ignore this if this ends up being a good coding model. Even if it's 95 or 90% of Claude 4, at that price, that's pretty dang solid. Yeah, we do something crazy like that, Aaron. I like that idea. I'm gonna copy that, what you were saying there. So Swampy, it does seem that it is confirmed that GPT-5 was Horizon Alpha and Horizon Beta, early versions of it, but no one knows if it was the big one or the mini version of it. There's been no confirmation on that. But a few people have said in the OpenRouter Discord it was confirmed. I can't wait to run the evals across all of this. I'm going to be working on that tonight. It's going to be a ton of fun. I wish this would oh, I think I fixed it. Well, I didn't fix it. The AI fixed it. This is just a web OS version. Let's see what these look like. I mean, it's still pretty sweet that it made it, but definitely not. I can't even close this window. That one I can. Up, down, paste, notepad. Save. Plus 2. Calculator works. No right-click context menu. Quinn 3 Coder did better at this test. Again, it's only one test. It's not actually like working in a code base. So it's hard to say because it really, these one-offs or whatever, it's going to be doing stuff like I was doing here. That's going to be the most important thing. Which actually, now that I actually have OpenRouter, I'm glad someone reminded me I could put it in through OpenRouter. And I think I have my keys set up. Let's see. Yeah, we're good. We can try it with my pair programmer. I need to fix the UI in @chat.ts.view to look like this. This is the thing I've been trying to get working here. Image. Right now, the submit button is in its own spot in the model selector. So ideally, if it picks up my pair programmer well, it should give me 3 options for how to tackle this problem, and then we should be able to pick one and go forward. I always like testing this. Oh yeah, we could take a look at local llama. Oh wait, let's do this. Single line input bar with trailing send button and inline model selector on the right matches the screenshot. Yeah, I want that option. Is it going to ask me other questions now? Okay, we'll let that run. I already see some of the posts from the local Reddit. Let me dark mode this thing a little bit. I don't know if it's actually going to work. There it goes. Okay. This I was cracking up on. I love that someone posted about this because 52.8 is massive, and then you look over here at 69.1, and then you see 30.8, and these are the same size. These bar charts make no sense to me. And when I first saw that, I thought I was like, am I missing something? Like, is these charts meaning something completely different? But I legit don't even know how this got out the door. I just don't even understand like how that didn't get checked. Or maybe I'm not intelligent enough to understand what that stuff actually means. But that blew up. There was another one too. I hope someone posted about it. I think they used Dolly to plot it. That's a good comment. Did they have another one? Yes, this is the other one. This is the other one that didn't make sense to me. So deception rate, 50, 47.4. I know it's blurry. And then 9 and 86.7. So those make more sense. 2.1 and 4.8. But then we've got like this weird thing over here on the left. So bizarre. And it makes you question like what I actually saw when I saw that. I'm like, what am I reading? Okay, so here. Wait, was this actually one? Oh no, okay. This is just people. I was like, this one actually caught me off guard because they made it look so legit. We'll leave that be just to keep it safe for work. Is there anything else funny on here? Oh man, those charts. Well, that's amazing. Yes, Codex is running with GPT-5. And it built that app that I showed. It actually turned out really good. And the prompt was like very basic. It was that e-commerce store. Very, very, very basic. Yeah, the only thing, if I were to race like Claude to the side by side, I feel like I've got to get the dialing in of the amount of reasoning somehow. And I need to make sure that I can, because when I'm doing, I could see myself having an OpenAI or a GPT-5 low, medium, high config in root code. And then I can pick like which one I want. I'd want that configured. I'd want to be able to do it so that it's like super, super simple for me to change the complexity there. Because like this right here, it takes too much time for me for just like a UI change. I don't think it should have been that. We don't have to do that much reasoning on it. So Codex does actually authenticate with ChatGPT. At least it gave me the option to. I did not do it. Let me see if I can, instead of killing that. See here, so log in with ChatGPT account. So it did let me do that. Well, I didn't do it, but I don't know what it gives me. Yeah, so I think what root code's going to need to do is give me the ability to configure the reasoning level here if I'm using it through OpenRouter. Because I don't see anything but the 5, Chat, Mini, Nano options. But if I go directly through OpenAI, and I look at the GPT-5 one, it's not even there yet. Never mind. Dang it, it switched on me. I hope I didn't just break anything. Hold on. I'm blinking. OpenRouter miss. Done. Put it back. Hopefully I didn't mess anything up. I do love the CLIs too. I'm actually not familiar enough with the CLI of Codex yet to know all the commands. Here, I'll go ahead and interrupt that. Because I was trying to look at the 91% context left. I used 147,000 tokens. It's pretty good, actually. If I look at status here, you can see I'm using GPT-5 medium effort. But I actually don't know the command to change it. You probably have to start it. I wonder if you have to, like, when you start it, you do like codex -- model something something something. Or there's a hidden command that I'm not seeing or finding. Yeah, I actually think I'm going to try to get my codex, rather than using my API key like I am here, I do want to do what you're doing, Anonymizer, because what he's saying is you can sign in with ChatGPT and you get limits. I don't know how much you get, but I am very interested to see how that works. All right, let's see if my app loads. No, it broke it. Everything's broken. I need to revert a bunch of stuff. So let's revert these two things. Let's get rid of all 2 files. And then model selector maybe it'll work now. Well, it got closer. Let me turn off the dark mode. It definitely got closer. It got it in the right place. It just needs to bring it down to the bottom. Just got to bring it. This is perfectly positioned, though. Just needs to bring that down. So close. Apparently, I have not done it. Someone's asking if you have the Pro subscription, can you sign into Codex? I have personally not done it. I'm currently on the Plus plan. I need to actually go through and just kind of understand how that is. I'll probably downgrade again. I kind of bounce back up between the two plans. I'll go up for a while and I'll go down back to the Pro plan. I went up to the Plus plan here so I could have access to GPT-5. Yeah, it'd be really cool. Does this actually run? No, it's because we got it. It's Python. It's interesting that they gave me that run option. Thanks for the heads up. All right. Yeah, it does not. I'm either not catching it quick enough or the download time's like 4 minutes and I'm not seeing it quick enough. Do you know how to change the reasoning level, Sam? If you start it with codex-m GPT-5, do you know how to make the effort? So when I look at my terminal here, I go to status, I see the reasoning level effort being medium. Do you know how to change that? That I would actually, if it was easy to even switch in here, I could see myself using it, because if I were able to go like effort low, I would do something, go effort high. I'm not saying that should be the command, but you know, some way to quickly switch between it I think would be pretty sick. All right. I think we better wrap it up there. I need to get working on evals and I have a call I got to jump onto in a few minutes. I got to go prep for. So I appreciate you all hanging out, and join the Discord if you're not in the Discord. If you are, post the stuff you're finding out about it. I love having all that data from everyone. And yeah, I will hopefully have a video out in the next 24 hours with all the evals to see how it compares to Sonnet across as many of the agents as I can. I'll do my very best to have that done. It's just going to take a little bit of time. I appreciate you all. Super fun. Can't tell you how much I appreciate hanging out with you all. All right. Bye, everybody.